to win a national championship. And that is the pressure that Larry Coker has been dealing with.
Well, he is somewhat a victim of his own success coming in the very first year and winning a national championship. It doesn't get much better than that, and the result of that is the expectation is elevated, and it's very, very difficult, no matter how much talent that you have on the football field, to continue that.
Well, coming in to this Orange Bowl for the first time since 1991, the Houston Cougars, led by fourth-year head man Art Briles, officially a 500 coach, 20 wins, 20 losses. Every game he's ever coached as a collegiate head man, he has had the same starting quarterback, a man he's very familiar with, someone he coached briefly in high school, in Kevin Cobb. So next year, it's going to be a totally different story for the Houston Cougars, as Briles will have to work in a new quarterback for the first time in his reign.
Well, it will be an adventure, too, because when you see this offense, you will understand why. It is very, very unorthodox, very unusual, and Kevin Cobb has it down to a science. He is like an artist at work on the football field.
Let's take this time to go down to the field where Dave Ryan is standing by. Dave, what's going on?
All right, Eric, thanks so much. We're talking about Larry Coker and the pressure he's facing. Miami, for the first time since 1997, has a 1-2 record, so you know he's feeling the heat here in South Florida. After that Louisville loss a couple of weeks ago, reports said that the coach, athletic director Paul D, members of the board of trustees all met about Coach Coker's future. Turns out that meeting never happened. Paul D, the AD, has said he will be the head coach here throughout this season, then they'll talk. Coach Coker told us yesterday, I'm not worried about job security. I'm worried about winning football games right now. And he said, sure, there's a lot of pressure with coaching a major powerhouse like Miami. You better deal with that pressure if you want to coach here.
Thank you, Dave. And Bell kicks it deep through the back of the end zone. And the Miami Hurricanes will start on the 20-yard line. Let's take a look at the impact players for the Canes, and they are young impact players. 4 freshmen starting today for the Canes. Jason Fox, he's going to be at one of the tackles. Javaris James, the cousin of Adrian James, gets his first career start at tailback. And Shields and Hill, 2 receivers that have a lot of ability, but obviously you're going to be pretty darn green. There is the big fella, Jason Fox. He's going to start at the left tackle spot today. May actually switch to the right side eventually, as Reggie Youngblood, coming back from an injury, will be moved into the mix. Javaris James, his first carry, and he goes nowhere. Willie Gaston drops him at the line of scrimmage. Let's take a look at the starting lineup. For Miami, the Hurricanes, of course, Kyle Wright, now in his second year as the starting quarterback. He has had his ups and downs so far this year, so Greg Olsen may be a big part of what he's doing today. You have a big tight end who's athletic, who can do a lot of things, and Brian, you know very well that a tight end can be your best friend at times.
Without question, he's got all of the physical traits, but he has to develop mentally and fit in.
On second down, another run. And this is James who's in the backfield, and James picks up a first down, a positive gain of 13 yards. Defensively, the Houston Cougars, this is the way that they line up. They have had some troubles. Even though they're 4-0, the defense has been inconsistent. They think that the return to health of 2 of their safeties, Joseph Gonzalez and Will Gully, will help out immensely. The safeties, they're in charge of the communication defensively, and hopefully they won't have so many breakdowns today with these safeties back. Fresh set of downs for the Canes. Greg Olsen goes in motion. Kyle Wright wants to throw, sets up the screen. It's James. 3rd consecutive time with a football, and out close to the 50-yard line before Gaston brings him down. A pickup of 16.
Well, what a fantastic job of the slow screen right here. This guy, James, is a player to watch. He will turn some heads this afternoon. I was privileged to be able to watch him on tape. He's only touched the ball a few times prior to this ball game, but they are set on getting him the football a lot more today and being able to see what this man can do.
Ball on the 49-yard line. Again to the ground, and again with James. 4 plays, he's touched it all 4 times. Pickup of 2.
Well, I think we see what Miami plans on doing to this Hurricane defense. They are going to establish the run. And having James in the ball game, this freshman, this guy can make things happen. Houston needs to buckle down. What a great opportunity for these kids on the Houston side of the football. These Miami guys are used to this big stage. not on the other side. Being on a national stage is a big deal, and they are jacked up about it.
4 plays, 31 total yards for James. All right. With time, steps up, wants a man wide open. Lance Leggett. And Leggett inside the 5. Something went wrong in that defensive backfield for the Cougars.
Well, we just got through talking about communication. And Wright does a good job. He is protected so well up front by those big guys, has all the time in the world, and they just come free. Nobody even sees them. Right behind everyone. It should have been a touchdown, a little underthrown. I think Wright was making sure he completed that to Leggett, but he does a good job of getting a lot of yardage, something Houston does not need early in the football game.
Pick up a 45 yard. Left side, James lowers the shoulder, down to the 1.
Well, bouncing the foot or getting the football out wide, this is where he's dangerous. He's so fast, his feet are so quick. He's not the greatest at running through people, as we can see right there. And they've got some big bodies on the other side of the football to make sure he won't.
James Bryant has just checked in at the fullback spot in front of James. Javarius James, touchdown, Canes. Well, talk about just what the doctor ordered. The Hurricanes hadn't played in 14 days. They get back on the field and march all the way down for 6.
Well, this is what we needed to see out of the Hurricanes. That was the big question mark in my mind, is how they would respond to this week off. After the beating against Louisville 2 weeks ago, that's what I wanted to see. That's what all these fans wanted to see, is them come out with their heads screwed on straight and play Miami Hurricane football.
Chalk it up to 7 plays, 80 yards. 6 of the 7 plays involved Javarius James. So maybe a new star and a new impact player is emerging here in Miami.
Well, they are certainly in need of one here in Miami. Their offense has sputtered, especially in the second half. James has no choice. I think maybe, Eric, back me on this, could have scored on that run. But he is the beneficiary of that. Those big guys up front, well motivated. And you see their tight end, their backup tight end number 11, clearing the way for James to get the score. And I'm sure that does a lot for the psyche of a young freshman getting his first start in the Orange Bowl on a stage like this.
Take a look at your Sonic scoring drive, and it was all, for the most part, Javarius James. Besides that 45-yard catch by Lance Leggett, Javarius James touched it every other time on that drive. And he picks up the touchdown. That is his second touchdown run of the year.
Well, I know his coaches yesterday, Rich Olson, the offensive coordinator, was really excited about getting him an opportunity. He said this was going to be his opportunity to shine.
Ryan Monroe kicks it off. And that's really the first mistake made so far today by Miami. It goes out of bounds, so good field position for the Houston Cougars. There's our referee, Ed Ardito. This is a Conference USA crew.
Kick out of bounds. Houston will elect the option of placing the ball to 35, first down.
Now the Houston Cougars don't need a lot of help offensively, but they get it with great field position. They have the 3rd best offense in the country, led by their trigger man, Kevin Cobb. He's got a lot of different weapons to throw to. Has no problems throwing it to Avery, Harvey, or Marshall. All of them with similar numbers and a similar skill set. Small guys who like to catch the ball in space and run. And before the snap, a flag flies.
False start on the offense, number 2. The 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, for those of you who have not been able to witness this Houston offense, get ready. It is exciting. You have to keep on your toes to figure out where everybody is and what he's trying to do with the football. We'll have some great opportunities throughout this day to show you some of the stuff that they do that's really, really unorthodox.
The senior Cobb, full command of this offense. Rolls right, has a man underneath. Pass is complete to Mark Hafner, the tight end. Gets back basically what they lost on the penalty. Pick up a 5. Offensively, the Houston Cougars, this is how they line up. Remember, they have the 3rd best offense in the country, but there's problems up front. Left tackle Jeff Aykroyd getting his first start at left tackle, protecting the blind side of Kevin Cobb. They're all everything left tackle. Sir Vincent Rogers blew out a knee last week at home against the Oklahoma State Cowboys. So there's some concern up front about protecting the backside of their star quarterback. Cobb takes it himself, and Cobb with a fantastic run crosses the 50 and pickup of 18 yards before Kenny Phillips found him and brought him down. Defensively, Miami Hurricanes, they have not had the big plays that you normally associate the Canes with. On the year, they have just 3 sacks as a team. So the guys up front, they have been challenged by defensive coordinator Randy Shannon to pin their ears back and get to the quarterback. Maybe a little bit too aggressive, that previous play, as they all ran right past as Kevin Cobb took it himself. Again, out of the shotgun, quickly to Vincent Marshall. Marshall scampering, ducks, picks up a couple. Ryan Paddock, not fooled, brings him down.
Well, we'll see a lot of that all day long. Cobb is very accurate with the football. He throws a lot of those throws, short throws. Defensive coordinator Randy Shannon for the Hurricanes says that those short throws are the same to him as runs with the football, and they're very effective at it. I don't know that I've seen him miss anything that's under a 15-yard throw on all the tape that I've watched.
In motion. Cobb flushed out of the pocket. Cobb to the sideline. And it's going to be called a catch. Donnie Avery stayed in bounds.
Well, what an athletic play by this young man. A great job of Cobb staying alive. And even better of Avery making the catch and sticking that toe down. That is a veteran move right there of being aware of where you are, catching the football at its highest point, and knowing where that field is, where that boundary is. That is a big-time play right there.
He was very close to being out of bounds. And I think maybe someone agrees with me, that play is going to be reviewed. Every play is reviewed, but this one is, they're going to take some extra time to think it over.
Well, they need to look at that to make sure. That could have been a blade of grass white or a blade of grass green. That was very, very close to being out of bounds. I'm glad I'm not having to make that decision, but still just great awareness by Avery, the receiver, of finding that boundary and being able to get that foot down. Don't get a real good look at it from that angle. We'll see the one we saw a minute ago. That's a bad thing about wearing white shoes. If you had black shoes, it might be a little easier, but that white blends good with the boundary and probably might skew that. The good thing for Houston is, though, it has been called a catch, so they have to be able to see something decisive enough to be able to overturn that call. So it is in Houston's favor. I think they'll probably let it stand.
Well, the line judge was right on top of it. He was about 5 yards down the sideline. He had the best view of everyone. Now, it's going to be a difference of 7 yards. Should the play stand, it'll be 3rd down and 2. If they overturn it, they'll move them back 7 yards, and it'll be 3rd down and 9.
Well, while we have a minute, I think it's great to note that this Houston offense has not missed a beat. Miami charges straight down the football field and puts up a touchdown, and they have moved the chains and done what they've done every game up until this one, moving the football. And I think as the game progresses, we'll have to see a consistent performance, as I talked about in the opener, out of Kevin Cobb. He is the guy that makes this system work. And it is, like I said, very, very unusual, but fun to watch.
Now the Cougars trying to exercise some demons here at the Orange Bowl. The last time they played here really sent their whole program spiraling downhill. Played here in 1991 and lost big time. And that really caused some problems within the program.
After reviewing the play, it's been determined that the receiver's toe hit the white. Therefore, it's an incomplete pass. 3rd down and 9 at the 45.
Wow.
Well, that is a big difference.
They might have been looking at a different view. I don't know how you can say that his shoe is white. That doesn't look very decisive to me, Eric. But hey, like I said, I am not the one making that decision. But good for the Canes, bad for the Cougars. It's still a great effort on Avery's part.
3rd down conversions for the Houston Cougars. 44%. Top tier in Conference USA. This will be difficult, though. 9 yards against a very fast and physical Hurricane defense. Cobb in trouble. Goes down. Cobb is sacked close to the 50-yard line. Brian Pat has had a great start to this game. He and Calais Campbell combined to bring him down.
Well, Cobb does his best to try to buy time and wait for his guys to get open. The only problem is he only had 2 receivers to that side. Both of them were covered up. He had no one to even go back to on the other side. He did the smart thing, and he just ate it and took the sack, and they lived to play another day. And punting is not a bad thing when you're playing a team like Miami.
Punt is just away. And flags fly as Bruce Johnson had some difficulty coming down with that catch. Not sure what the situation was, but Ed Ardito sorted it all out for us.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 15, the return team. The 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Well, that's just going to make it a little bit longer for Javaris James and the Hurricanes to get another touchdown. Have the Canes found their new star? We shall see when we come back. James can come back with an encore. Well, they're happy to be playing football again here at the Orange Bowl. The Miami Hurricanes, they have had 14 days to kind of stew in their own juices after a very difficult loss against the Louisville Cardinals. Finally back on the field, and it looks like they're playing with some anger. Have an early 7-0 lead over the Houston Cougars.
It's very difficult after a loss like that to not be able to go out and play next week, but they've done a good job, according to Larry Coker, of taking it and using it well and using it effectively.
Javaris James, such a huge part of that first touchdown drive for the Canes. Starts off on the ground here in the second drive, and he gets a yard. Let's go back to the studio with Brian Kenny. Brian?
Eric, get you up to date on Florida and Alabama. Again, Crimson Tide up on top until this. Chris Leak to Andre Caldwell. He's going to go in, make it 14-10 Florida in the 4th quarter. It's now 14-13, less than 13 minutes to go in that game, and it's a final. Notre Dame beats Purdue 35-21, snaps Purdue's 7-game winning streak. Eric?
Brian, thank you so much. 2nd down, they keep it on the ground. James again, this time rumbling out to the 20-yard line, a pickup of 7.
Well, as we watch this drive, Javaris James of running the ball up the middle of the Cougar defense, then Wright does a good job of just hitting his check down, and he makes the rest happen. This one is all on him. He gets the reward in the end, going behind that very inexperienced offensive line. Anthony Wuschlager, the center, the only returning starter. And this guy, like I said, is going to be special. And this is a chance for him to show what he's got. According to Rich Olson, their offensive coordinator, it's time for him to show up and see what he can do when he's the man. and he is the man today, and he has been so far.
Injury timeout on the field. Let's use this time to go down on the field where Dave Ryan's standing by with some Miami royalty. Right?
No doubt about it. Miami royalty, they called you. Jim Norris is the head baseball coach. 10 of 13 years you've made the College World Series and 2 national championships. You know what it's like to win big games at Miami. What is the pressure right now Larry Coker is feeling?
Well, I think that, there's pressure on all of us, and there's no tougher place to coach in America than the University of Miami. And I think as a coach, when you come in, you understand that. And when I came in on my interview, they were using a national runner-up trophy to use as a doorstop in the bathroom, and that explains it all.
You two are very good friends. What kind of things have you told him, advice, to try to get through this tough time?
Well, I've just told him, I'm here for him, and, he and Diane are very close friends of mine. I talked to him today and Diane, but, I'm here for him, anything I can do to help.
Good to see you, Jim. Thanks.
Thank you.
Eric?
Thank you, Dave. It's going to be a 3rd down and short for the Miami Hurricanes. Cody Preed is being helped off the field. One of the defensive ends got caught last play.
Right at the tail end of the play, he just gets clipped. Hopefully not anything serious. But you've always got to be careful when you're laying around, standing around a pile. You never know who's going to be rolling around down there.
A very similar play to that and ended the season of Sir Vincent Rogers, their fantastic left tackle a week ago against Oklahoma State. James again, he's been the workhorse, gets the first down and more. Well, Brian, we're seeing a whole bunch of Javaris James so far early in this game.
Well, we really have, and we knew we were going to, but he's hitting holes hard, and that's what you really want out of a running back. You don't like to always be hesitant and patient. With a line like that, the size that they have up against that Houston front 3, they're going to move them out of the way, and the quicker you hit that hole, the quicker you're going to make more yardage, and the better you're going to be able to gain yardage.
James, 50 yards. The Houston Cougar offense, 20 yards. So a great start for the freshman. Pitch and catch, Ryan Hill with the football, and Hill close to another first down before Trent Allen brings him down from behind.
Well, we're going to see the little quick screen to the wide receiver here. Ryan Hill, the freshman, does a good job, gets a great lead block out front by Jason Fox and makes the most out of it, almost getting the first down. Now they're 2nd and short. Like to see a shot down the field right here. Good opportunity for Miami to catch him off guard.
For Hill, that's just his 4th catch of the season. He is a converted cornerback that they're very high on. Conservative call. They keep it on the ground. James has it, breaks a couple of tackles, lowers his head, crosses the 50, and shows some moxie. Pickup of 17 tough yards for the freshman.
Well, we have seen how they're going to approach this ball game. I don't think that any of those coaches down on the Miami sideline want to do anything but good, hard-nosed football. And with Javaris James, who's doing a good job of moving the ball on the ground, why change it up? Why do anything else, put the ball in the air or risk anything when you can move the ball pretty freely against this Houston defense that needs to step up? We need to see some of those linebackers making some plays. They're getting pushed around by these big offensive linemen.
Before the snap, a couple of flags fly onto the field.
False start on the offense, number 11. It's a 5-yard penalty, still first down.
The tight end, DeLeon Farr.
Well, we've talked about Houston's offense. Their defense is somewhat unusual as well. They run a 3-down look, a 3-4 defense, but they always shift it either under or over and walk a linebacker down. So when you look at it, it looks like a 4-down look, but it's not in reality. It's just a linebacker on the line of scrimmage.
Wright will throw as his batted away. Incomplete. Get his big paw on it. L.C. Kirkpatrick, senior from Houston.
Well, I think this is a good opportunity for this Houston team. They've got Miami back in a hole in 2nd and 15. They need to stop them. They need to feel like they can do that as we get a shot at Alan Woodall, who's their defensive coordinator. If they can shut them down here, it can give them some confidence. They need to be able to know that they can stop this offense that really hasn't done much coming into this ball game.
3 receivers in the game, 2 right, 1 left. Delayed handoff to James. James makes a man miss. gets out close to the marker. He continues to rack up the stats early in this first quarter. Pickup of 12 yards for James. All right, we got to start asking the question, do you see any similarities between him and his famous cousin, Edgerrin James?
Well, I see a lot of yardages being racked up. I know that, but my thought is he's got to be getting pretty tired. He has not got a lot of reps this year, and you can practice all you want. You can run all you want at practice. It doesn't get you into game shape, because game time, you're putting out all the effort you can possibly give. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can hold up throughout the ball game.
He's touched the ball 11 times already in this first quarter. And another whistle stops play.
Prior to snap, false start, number 83 on the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Really, the only problem so far today for the Canes has been of their own doing. They've stubbed their toe a couple of times with inconvenient penalties.
Well, we get a look at Sam Shields, the other rookie wide receiver, and those are mistakes that rookies are going to make, that freshmen are going to make, and it's just something you're going to have to learn to live with. It's very, very difficult when you're in practice, much different than when you're in a ball game and there's crowd noise and distractions.
Third down, they need to get to the 37-yard line. Right with time, and the pass is intercepted. Coming the other way. Will Gully, the safety we talked about in the open, ranging far and wide, gets the ball and returns it 18 yards. So maybe a breath of life for the Houston Cougars. They make a play defensively. When we come back, we'll see if they can capitalize on offense.
That's good stuff. ESPN2's College Football Primetime, brought to you by the ESPN Total Access Visa Card. You spend, you score. And NikeGridiron.com. Football is everything.
Well, it turns out to be a beautiful day here in Miami. People aren't going to believe it, but just a couple of hours ago, it was an absolute deluge. Just right here at the Orange Bowl, there was water basically calf deep all the way around the Orange Bowl. But it has cleared up nicely. Field is drained perfectly, and that is a fast track as per usual here at the Orange Bowl. See if the Houston Cougars can take advantage. First down after the turnover. Cobb keeps it, throws it out right side. Pass is complete to Byron Ely for just a short gain, 1, maybe 2 yards. Let's go back to the studio and Brian Kenny. Brian?
All right, Eric, Texas Tech to Texas A&M. A&M 4-0, trying to match their season total of wins from last year with win number 5. That ties it up. Chris Alexander goes in. It's now 24-24, 5 and change left. Eric?
Thank you, Brian. Well, that is always a battle that is very spirited, to say the least. Tech and A&M getting it on. Second down and 7. Underneath 4 minutes to play, first quarter. Man in motion, Rashawn Pope. Empty backfield, quick throw, but before the pass, there is a flag.
False start on the offense, number 82. That's a 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Both teams a little bit spotty so far early in this game. Well, this is what we saw earlier today in time-lapse form. Orange Bowl starting to look like things may happen as the clouds covering, just hovering the stadium, threatening to rain. And then, well, a couple of minutes later, you get that. This is right in front of the Orange Bowl. We actually drove through it, trying to get to the parking lot. And happy in the rain sometimes. You need the rain. Second down and 12. Ely, the man in motion. Cobb, flushed out of the pocket. Flips it underhand. Gets it to Jackie Battle. And Battle gets out close to the first down. A pickup of 9. It'll bring up a third down and 3.
Well, you're seeing the awareness of Cobb. He's so used to unloading the ball so quickly all of the time. He thinks really, really quickly. And Battle there knows that anything is possible. Battle's a big 250-pounder that lines up in the backfield. He's not really known for catching the football, but a little flip there, I think he's kind of used to grabbing those, pulling them down, and getting yardage.
Toss it out. Ulrich, his first carry of the game, and the speedster from Denton, Texas, goes around the right side and gets enough for the first down. Pickup of 4 yards.
Well, there's an example of just a really, really cool play that they run. Houston, they had the slot back right there, and Cobb opens up and basically fakes it to him on what looks like just a play, a run-around play, yet he has the option the other way. They are so misdirection and so wild, it's really kind of hard to keep up sometimes. And we've seen some of their earlier stuff, but haven't had a chance to talk about it. We're going to stay on top of it and explain this to you. It's just really, really fun to watch.
We have the good fortune of having the Goodyear blimp hovering over the Orange Bowl today, giving us some fantastic shots of South Florida. They try and go deep, looking for Donnie Avery, and Cobb just a little bit too strong.
Well, they did a good job of getting the ball down the football field, but Cobb, you rarely see him miss. I think he's a little more out of his element when he has to go longer down the field. They're used to so many short passes in this run and shoot type offense. That's what Randy Shannon, the defensive coordinator from Miami, calls it. That's what it is, basically, is a run and shoot offense. But on the other hand, Art Briles says, no, it's a run-based offense. It's not about throwing the football.
They get it to Vincent Marshall, and Marshall is brought down after a pickup of 1 yard. They like to get the ball to Marshall any way possible, but that time nothing doing.
Well, Marshall, one of their wide receivers, lined up in the slot. Little shuttle play. Works well against most teams. Miami has such great speed, such great athleticism on defense. It's going to be hard for things like that to fool them or to catch them off guard.
So just what Art Briles didn't want, a 3rd down and long. They need to get 9 to keep this drive alive. Cobb out of the shotgun. Flushed out, right side. He's got good wheels. Takes his time, throws across his body, and the catch is made, and it looks to be enough for the 1st down. Byron Ely, his 2nd catch of this drive. Picks up 10 and moves the chains.
Well, Cobb does a great job, has pressure from both sides of the football, but man, he's got such awareness of being able to make plays happen, get out in the open, buy time, find the open receiver. Ely does a great job of the scramble rule, which is to get open, find a spot in between the defense and make a play. They needed that. They also don't need to be in 3rd and long. That's going to be tough to pull off against this defense.
Another quick toss, pass incomplete to the tight end Hafner. He had it, then dropped it. Let's go back to Brian Kenny for another update. Brian?
Eric, battle of 2 top 25 teams, Georgia Tech and Virginia Tech. Tashard Choice going over 100 yards rushing, lost it, got it back, 10-yard touchdown run, made it 38-13. It's 38-20 Georgia Tech. Eric?
Thank you, Brian. Georgia Tech looking good, flexing a little bit of muscle on the road against Virginia Tech. 2nd down at 10. Kevin Cobb, 6 of 9 passing, but only 5 yards per completion, so not a lot of yards right now early for the Cougars. Cobb is crushed from behind after a pickup of 5.
Well, Cobb, again, just having to use his feet. The pressure up front by Miami's front 4 is just too much for this offensive line of Houston. They're just getting penetration, and Cobb is on his feet trying to make things happen, which is a good thing. You don't like to see it all the time. Miami's goal coming into this ballgame was to stop the run. That's not a run play, but you know what? It counts as a run, even though it's a scramble.
Little razzle-dazzle. They try the left side. Vincent Marshall dives forward to the 35, but he's going to be short of the 1st down. It'll bring up a 4th down and 2. Is this decision time now for Art Briles in Houston?
Well, he's definitely got to be thinking about that. It's a very, very close to the markers. He's not really wanting to punt the football. At the same time, it's way too far for a field goal. And I think it's a tough call. He'll probably go ahead and allow the quarter to run out, think about it. I'm imagining we're going to see, with just a 7-point ball game, we're going to see this ball punted down the field, hopefully down inside the 10, and back them up, get a field position, get ahead of the field position, which is important in every ball game. Doesn't matter what the score is, but it matters when you're playing a team like Miami in their home stadium.
So the end of the first quarter is here, and now some time to think about it. Houston Cougars have a big opportunity when we come back. Miami trying to get back on their feet after a couple of tough weeks. Welcome back. Second quarter action here at the Orange Bowl. The Houston Cougars trying to get on the board against the Miami Hurricanes. And Art Briles has decided to roll the dice. He's going to go for it, Brian, on 4th down and 2. Are you surprised?
Oh, I'm not surprised at all. Talking to him yesterday, very intense man. He probably is a gambling man.
Cobb keeps it, fires, has a man, complete to Jerron Harvey. And Harvey down close to the 10-yard line. Not only do they get the first down, but they get a whole bunch.
Well, that's a lot of faith in your quarterback. I'm looking at the dive thinking they're going to do what everybody else in America would do and run the dive. Cobb pulls it out and fires it right down the football field. Harvey with those beautiful hands. We're watching Coach Briles. Is he excited or what? He knows how big of a play that is, and if they can get points out of this, hey, they're there for real.
Biggest play of the game so far today for the Cougars. 24 yards on that pickup. Vincent Marshall, man in motion. They're going to throw it to him. Marshall gets inside the 5. Pickup of 7 yards. So the Cougars knocking on the door. This offense not having a whole heck of a lot of problems with Miami's defense thus far. They're not getting huge chunks of yards, but they're picking up bits and pieces here and there.
Well, they're not, but Briles told us, the head coach, that the receivers are the strength of this offense, and we can see why. They use them in so many different ways. They don't just drop back and let them run routes and get open. They use them on screens. They give it to them out of the backfield. These receivers are make Kevin Cobb go.
Big fullback Jake Ebner into the game. They fake to him. Cobb kicks it himself and scores the touchdown. 4 yards on the touchdown run, and how about that? A 12-play touchdown drive for Art Briles and his Houston Cougars.
Well, we see the classic triple option. He gets under center, fakes to the fullback, pulls it because the end closes, sees the gap. The pitch man holds the defender, walks into the end zone. You got to love that. It's hard to defend that when you don't practice it.
Ben Bell try and tie this game up at 7. And he does. Well, maybe this is what we heard so much about. The Houston Cougars, the 3rd-ranked offense in the country, showing you why here at the Orange Bowl. We are deadlocked at 7. Who was at the... Well, the Houston Cougars, they get an interception. They march it all the way down the field. Kevin Cobb calls his own number and gets a 4-yard touchdown to make this a tie game. 12 plays, 66 yards, the big play, a 24-yard gain on 4th down and 2.
That was a big call by Briles and even a bigger throw by Kevin Cobb. 6 of 8 on the drive. He is a solid player. His head coach calls him a stud, the best in the country. Strong statement.
Garrett Lefevre kicks it off. Ryan Hill, the freshman, returns it and steps out of bounds before he can get to the 30-yard line. A flag now is down on the field. I think it's going to have to be the kicking team offsides. It's way back on the other 30-yard line.
Offsides on the kicking team, number 52. Miami elects a re-kick with a 5-yard penalty.
So the Miami Hurricanes want to try another kickoff return against this Houston Cougar special team unit. For years, Miami has had just tremendous athletes, and anytime you get a special teams play or any play where you can have a Hurricane running in space, there's a good chance that they're going to do something spectacular with it. And Larry Coker thinks that this year he's got those athletes again that can do those fantastic athletic things that his teams have done in the past.
But when you look and you think about special teams around the country, you think of the Miami Hurricanes, you think of Virginia Tech, very, very good at converting blocks, returning kicks for touchdowns. They call it Beamer ball in Tech. I doubt they have a name for it here, but Coker does a very good job of emphasizing their entire practice last week. One of them was devoted entirely to special teams. A lot of coaches will not do that. It's as important as any other aspect of the football game.
Ball's moved back to the 30-yard line, and Garrett Lefevre will try it again. This time, tried Johnson on the right side, and Johnson starts from the 4-yard line. Gets out across the 20, but not much more. So maybe a gamble that didn't pay off. Just a 17-yard return, and the Miami Hurricanes will take over on the 21-yard line when we come back. A gorgeous day in Miami, and the Canes make it a victorious day. Welcome back, everyone, to the venerable Orange Bowl. 69 years now it has been in use. Miami Hurricanes taking on the Houston Cougars for the first time since 2004. We're knotted up at 7 apiece. First down at 10, ball on the 21-yard line. Canes continue to struggle with field position. They have averaged a start position of their own 18-yard line so far early in this game. Lars James has been the workhorse. Picks up a couple of yards. It'll be second down and 8. Let's check in with Brian Kenny for a Sports Center in-game update.
Eric, this is presented by Taco Bell. Texas Tech trailing Texas A&M. Graham Harrell to Robert Johnson. Look at that catch. Down by 3 in the final minute. And Texas Tech now has the lead in the final seconds. We'll fill you in later, Eric.
Oh, man. Thank you, Brian. Heartstopper down there in Texas. Well, look at these numbers. Lars James has doubled the output on the ground of the Houston Cougars. Kyle Wright wants to throw. It's high and it's picked off. Ball off the hands of his tight end, Greg Olsen, and it is intercepted. That's the second interception thrown by Kyle Wright. The senior from Midland, Texas, Wade Cole, comes down with the football. And Alan Waddell's got to be pleased with the play of his defense.
Well, we have talked about how Miami has been running the football very one-dimensional, and we have not seen Greg Olsen, their tight end, at all today. He runs a little return route wide open. Wright lets it fly on him just a little bit, and a very, very aware Wade Cole makes the play on the football. A big turnaround for the Hurricanes, something they did not need to do. One of their keys offensively was to not have turnovers.
So 2 consecutive passes intercepted by Kyle Wright. Not much doing. Kenny Phillips comes up from his safety spot and stuffs the play.
Well, that's a great job, and you can tell by watching that football play, they have worked on this Houston offense, because I saw that play run so many times against Oklahoma State where they would fake that end around and throw that ball out wide to an uncovered wide receiver. But they did a great job of scouting this team, figuring out what they're going to do, and taking away some of their bread and butter.
Cobb in trouble again, and he's sacked in the backfield. Coming in there clean and making the sack, Antonio Dixon, his first sack of the year.
Well, there's the big guy, 335 pounds of pure man. Can't imagine the food that he puts away. Certainly don't want him hanging on my back trying to throw the football.
We talked about how the defensive line hasn't had much success getting to the quarterback this year. That is just the 4th sack as a team for the Canes.
Well, that puts a lot of pressure on their defensive backfield, not being able to pressure the quarterback.
3rd down and a bunch. Pass is complete. Donnie Avery gets out close to the 20-yard line, not nearly enough for a first down. It's a gain of 8. But the field goal unit's going to have to come on for Art Briles.
Well, I think we're seeing an example there of the short passing game, just like a pretty good run. They were not even looking for the first down. They were trying to just move the ball up the field, keep it on the left hash mark, so their kicker would have a better opportunity on this field goal attempt, which I think they had already resigned to.
Then Bell will attempt a 38-yard field goal. Trying to give the Cougars the lead. No worries. Bell now 4 for 5 on the year, and the Cougars with their first lead of the game. Art Files is fired up.
Well, he should be.
Larry Coker maybe a little bit concerned right now.
Boom.
Our gorgeous shots of the Miami area are being provided by Goodyear Tires, featuring silent armor technology. Pilot Larry Chambers up in the sky. Cameraman James Wilson. Thanks, guys. Miami, one of those picturesque American cities. And right now, a picturesque start to this game for Art Briles and the Houston Cougars. They have scored 10 points off turnovers in the last 3 minutes. The last 2 passes attempted by Kyle Wright have been picked off by the Cougars. So they've got it going right now. They need to build on that momentum.
Well, that's exactly what I was talking about. Their first #1 key, according to Rich Olson, their offensive coordinator, was not to have any turnovers. You look back to the Florida State game, they had 2 turnovers that resulted in scores. We've seen the same thing happen today. They need to eliminate those big turnovers that can affect the outcome of this football game.
Short kickoff, bounces at the 20-yard line, and it's a live ball. Who's got it? Did it go out of bounds? It went out of bounds, and so it will stay with the Miami Hurricanes. That was almost disastrous. Well, later tonight, Mario Manningham, the 6th-ranked Michigan Wolverines, try to remain undefeated and in the championship chase as they visit the Minnesota Golden Gophers. That game being played at the Metrodome. College football prime time over on ESPN, starting at 8 Eastern time. College football lives here. Ryan, you a believer in what those Michigan Wolverines are selling right now?
Well, I'm a little bit skeptical of football up north in general, especially the Wolverines.
Sounds like a former LSU Tiger to me.
Well, it's in my blood. What can I say?
Lance Leggett is the man in motion. Wright wants to throw under duress. He completes it. The tight end, DeLeon Farr. Pickup of 2. Let's go back to the studio where Brian Kenny has a SportsCenter in-game update.
All right, we go to Florida and Alabama. This one was tight for a while, but Alabama got picked off. Then Florida drove and took it back in, and then here we go. Look out. Picked off again. Reggie Nelson all the way back in. 70-yard touchdown interception return. So it's 28-13 Florida. Less than 3 minutes to go. And this is now a final. Again, that touchdown pass you saw, that did it. Come from behind. Texas Tech with the win.
Thank you, Brian. Well, the troubles continue for the Hurricanes. One play after catching the pass, DeLeon Farr is now going to be whistled for a penalty.
Start on the offense, number 77. It's a 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
Now they call it on Reggie Youngblood, but it looked like it was on DeLeon Farr. That's the 3rd false start penalty for the Miami Hurricanes.
Well, they have really been sloppy with their penalties today. The kick out of bounds. These aren't things you'd expect from a ball club who's had a lot of time since their last ball game to work on every aspect of their game.
Al Wright still riding that roller coaster. Started off like a house of fire, but he's been misfiring lately, and he does again. Looking for Sam Shields, and the pass is high, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down and long. Penalty flag comes down late.
Well, watching Kyle Wright, I've heard a lot of great things about him, how athletic he is, how smart he is, and also how accurate his arm is. We haven't seen that really.
After the play, we had a dead ball, personal foul, number 72 for a late hit. It's a half the distance. The down counted. It's 3rd down.
Andrew Bain called for that personal foul.
Yeah, that's really late. Legitimate block, but it's just well past the whistle.
So the ball will be moved all the way back to the 13-yard line. Miami, they've now been penalized 5 times for 35 yards. Just getting started in the 2nd quarter. They need to get out to the 35-yard line to continue this drive. right, under pressure. Completes it underneath. Ball is dropped. Caught and then dropped. James had it, loses it. Are they going to say it was a catch and a fumble? No, the pass is incomplete.
Receiver did not complete the process, catch the ball and make a move. Therefore, it's 4th down.
The ruling on the field is that it's an incomplete pass. Take a look.
Well, that's a good break for this Miami offense. Every time that you watch a replay and you slow it down, you look at it and you say, wow, that's a catch. And that looked like a catch to me, looked like a couple of steps. I wouldn't be surprised if they review this. And if not, Briles might think about his challenge on that play.
Yeah, they have stopped things, and looks like they're going to take a second peek at this one.
Well, again, we watch it here in slow motion as James looks like he has
Houston is challenging the
ball secure. Both his feet down.
Was incomplete.
Well, Brian, is this a worthwhile challenge for the Houston Cougars?
I think so. It's a little more difficult when we watch it in slow motion because it looks, his feet are down. He takes 1.5 steps. The ball comes loose. He has here, as we watch it in real time, we'll get a better look at that football and whether or not we think he got it in. Looks a little different when you speed it up to regular time. It's going to be I think tough to overrule it because it's not really that sufficient evidence of that he had possession of it.
There needs to be indisputable video evidence that it was a catch. The ruling on the field was that he did not have the football long enough, did not make a football move.
Well, I know one thing, just like I'm sitting up here in this booth, I know Larry Coker's thinking the same thing. It doesn't really matter to him whether or not that ball was caught because the ball should not be loose regardless. These are mistakes that Miami is making. They cannot afford to do this.
And this is a quick decision that has been made, it looks like.
After reviewing the play, the call on the field stands. It's an incomplete pass. 4th down. Houston will be charged a timeout.
Well, a sigh of relief for Larry Coker and the fans here at the Orange Bowl as Art Briles has burned his challenge.
Well, it's early to do it, and I think it was worth the risk because if he can get that ball back, have another opportunity for a score as we look at the first drive of Miami, 80 yards, very similar to Louisville. They put 7 points on the board in that ball game and did not score the entire rest of the day as Louisville put up 31 on them. And he should be a little bit frustrated. It's difficult. Instant replay, it covers a lot of different things, and when you can slow a play down and get a good look at it, it's very, very difficult. A lot of people not real believers in the system.
Well, Art Briles can't complain too much. A week ago in Houston, they got a very generous call after a review in their game against Oklahoma State that helped them pick up their 4th win against no losses. So Brian Monroe will kick it away from his own end zone. 4th down and 22. Standing deep to return this, Vincent Marshall. Marshall's going to have to come up in a hurry to field this one. He gets away from it, and that's going to be a fantastic punt from Monroe and the Canes. All go all the way down to the 32-yard line, scored a 52-yard punt. Let's go back down in the field. Rhino, what's going on?
Well, Eric, a big key to this game for Miami, the success of the quarterback, Kyle Wright. Now, one issue that Kyle's having, the coaches tell us, is his decision-making process. When he gets to the line of scrimmage, he'll either check off or then change the play, stay with the original play. The problem is, just as he gets to the line of scrimmage before the snap, he'll then change his mind a second time. And it's that late decision, not sticking with his original thought when he first reads the defense, that is really hurting Kyle Wright. After the good first drive, struggles, 2 interceptions, and the last stall drive, Eric, it's happening again.
Dave, thank you so much. Cobb, senior quarterback, brought down from behind. Good pressure by Kareem Brown. Kareem Brown getting after the quarterback and brings him down.
Well, they're trying to go deep down the football field, and Miami is doing a good job of staying with their wide receivers. Cobb is doing a good job of keeping the ball alive, but You can't continue to put yourself in a hole in 2nd and long against a Miami defense like this. They're too fast, they're too physical, too athletic to be able to continue to get out of those holes 3rd and 2nd and long.
2nd and 14. Cobb keeps it himself. He's already run for a touchdown. Picks up a couple of yards, gets past the original line of scrimmage. It'll bring up a 3rd down and long. Night game here at the Orange Bowl. Sun is setting. It has turned out to be a great evening for football after what looked to be kind of a nasty day. Middle of the afternoon, a significant rainstorm came our way. It rained very hard for about 20 minutes.
When we drove up, we thought a pipe had burst. There was so much water in the front of the stadium. It was unbelievable.
3rd down and 10. Cobb looks one way, goes the other. Pass is complete, nothing doing. Harvey the catch, but he is brought down quickly. And that's going to force the punt team to come back on. A loss of 1. Kareem Brown, a big part of that defensive effort, forcing a 3 and out by the Cougars.
You know, Miami's defense needed to do that. They needed to stop this Cougar offense, even though those 2 turnovers have given them a short field and they've been able to put points on the board. But the key now becomes this Miami offense that has sputtered all year. Kyle Wright not having a banner start to the day. A couple of passes that were a little off the mark. He's got to be able to settle down, stop thinking about his throws so much, and react more in the situation.
Justin Laird punts it away. Good high kick. Forces Bruce Johnson to field. He gets across the 30-yard line to the 33. Well, Monday night, Brett Favre and the Packers try to even their record at 2-2 as they face Donovan McNabb, Brian Westbrook, and the Philadelphia Eagles. Is it Monday yet? Monday Night Football on ESPN at 8:30 Eastern Time. Also available in high definition on ESPN HD. Speaking of high definition, the Canes looking to get some definition to their offense right here. After that first drive, which was all Javaris James, they have just been a kind of a blob. Not much going on offensively except for negative plays for the Canes. Charlie Jones into the game at tailback. He gets the football. His first carry. Pick up on 2 out to the 35-yard line.
Well, I think offensive coordinator Rich Olson now is a little bit dismayed about what to do. They took the opening drive, gave it to James, let him move the football down the field on his own, and then he tries to open it up a little bit later on with Wright throwing the football, and it just hadn't been very productive. So he's going to have to watch himself. I'm sure he'd love to be able to go back to James, but it seems like Houston is doing a great job of stuffing that box inside the tackles.
Delayed handoff. Jones again. Pick up about 4 this time to the 34-yard line. Bring up a 3rd down and 4. Charlie Jones, the junior from Homestead, Florida. They think of him as the tough inside runner, very physical player at 5'10", 218 pounds. He's got a different style than Javaris James, who is the elusive tailback that they like to use to get into the open field.
Well, he's more of the all-around back who can catch, he can protect, he knows the offense a lot better. He's a little more fluent, better to be in there every down as opposed to James, the young rookie.
Now, Kyle Wright didn't like what he saw, so he calls a timeout. That's the first timeout used here in the first half for the Miami Hurricanes. When we come back, they will have a very pivotal 3rd down play.
ESPN2's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Holiday Inn. Holiday Inn, look again. And Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side.
All right, big play here for the Miami Hurricanes. 3rd down and 4. They need to get across the 43-yard line to keep this drive alive. They haven't had a first down in 15 minutes of game action, and they're not going to get one here. Greg Olson had it and then dropped it.
Well, that was the one thing his coaches talked about. They really love this guy. They like to get him the football, but his problem is when he knows he's getting the football, he gets overly excited, and it's hard for him to settle down and just do what he's supposed to. This is a very good route, a nice little 5-yard out, but you've got to catch the football.
So the punt team on again. Brian Monroe, another boomer. That'll roll inside the 15, possibly inside the 10. And it'll stop at about the 11-yard line. So another good effort by Brian Monroe. A punt of 50 yards this time. But the bigger issue is Art Briles' Houston Cougars. They get the football back after stopping the Canes with a 3-and-out.
Well, that's huge for the confidence of his defense. His offense has been okay today. They've had 2 really good opportunities on short fields, but they really need to work to sustain a nice long drive, try to end this quarter, end this half with some type of points, or at least to get some field position back, because right now Miami has the upper hand. They've been hitting some nice punts and pinning them back, not giving them a whole lot.
Kevin Cobb, he's been as advertised. He's been accurate. They haven't asked him to do too much. He's completed 10 of 13. Stay on the ground. Jackie Battle. Nominal gain. Let's check in with Brian Kenny. Brian, what's going on?
All right, Eric, we'll go to Texas and Sam Houston State. Off the punt. Look out. Bunch of Longhorns are there. Tyrell Gatewood got a piece of it. Robert Killebrew will eventually dive on it. And Texas takes a 7-0 lead early. And this is now a final. Alabama had a chance, but they lose to Florida. Hey, the next 3 for Florida, Eric: LSU, Auburn, and Georgia. They're 4-0.
Thank you, Brian. Well, my Brian, I'm going to put you on the spot. Florida, LSU. What do you got in that one?
That is going to be a good ball game. It's going to be a hard-fought one. There won't be much offense, I don't think, in that ball game. LSU has a great defense. Florida, a little sporadic offensively. I think it'll be a low-scoring game, and I don't know. I think it's a toss-up. I think it's whichever quarterback plays well, that's going to be the determining factor in the end.
Well, timeout called, and Larry Coker's bunch are going to have a little time to think about how they're going to play defensively against Kevin Cobb and the Houston Cougars. Let's talk about this Houston Cougar team. They were 4-0 coming into today's game. A lot of people didn't give much of a chance. Are you a believer in what we've seen so far through a quarter and a half?
Well, I'm a little bit surprised. I didn't think they would be able to do much against Miami, but Miami is giving them opportunities. These aren't things that they need to be doing. Bad football, a lot of penalties, turnovers, short fields for this offense that is very, very potent when Cobb is on. And he has not been off as long as I have watched him, and I've watched him in about 2.5 ball games. He's the real deal. His coach believes in him. He's making a believer out of me, and I'm sure a lot of fans out there are beginning to see what Coach Briles sees in this young man.
Cobb leads his team back out onto the field. 2nd down and 10 after they use their 2nd time out of the half. Cobb, the senior from Stephenville, Texas. He has played 41 games now as a collegiate. He has never missed a start. Didn't have a redshirt year. He has had a ton of experience playing for the Cougars. And he uses that experience to hit his tight end, Rodney Hanna, and pick up a 1st down. Gain of 12.
I like Rodney Hannon. This guy is a basketball player. He used to play on the University of Houston basketball team. This guy is 6'8", and he has a vertical of 36 inches. He doesn't have the greatest hands in the world. He's very, very raw, very green. But I'm telling you what, this guy gets some time on the football field, gets to develop a little bit. Man, you talk about a potent weapon. He's the tallest guy on the team.
And he's the first guy in the history of the Houston Cougar football program whose last name is spelled the same forward and backwards. He's the first palindrome in Houston history, if you can believe that. They're going to go on the ground. Jackie Battle picks up a couple of yards, a gain of 3 for the senior from Humble, Texas.
Well, Houston needs to be able to establish a ground game. They haven't been able to do it. They use that short passing game very effectively. Miami needs to regroup defensively. Even though they've had short fields, they need to just make a statement right here. The funny thing, I think, is talking to defensive coordinator Randy Shannon, he said they don't have a leader on defense. They don't like to tag someone with that responsibility. They feel that they all have a role to play. They don't feel like anybody is standing out this year. The defensive line has played sporadic, but not consistent.
They need someone to make a play right here. Trying to stop the Cougars. Cobb keeps it with time. Couple of pump fakes. Pass incomplete. Throws it behind his tight end, Hafner.
Well, he had Donnie Avery down the field on a hook route for the first down. But it's the first time that I've ever seen watching him where he actually second-guessed a decision and had nowhere to go with the football.
That's just the 4th incompletion for Cobb. He's now 11 for 15. Four receivers in the game for the Cougars. Cobb swings it out. Marshall cut down at the 30-yard line. Pickup of 5. He needed more than that to keep the drive alive. Actually, the catch was made by Rashawn Pope. And the punt team will have to come on for Houston.
That was a big stop for the defense, and I keep going back to it. Those short throws are exactly like decent runs. It was about a 4-yard gain, not enough for the first down. It's hard. They have to be able to establish that, and if they can establish a running game, that opens up the airways and allows them to throw the ball more freely. The only problem is Houston really doesn't throw the ball down the field that much. They use those short throws as their bread and butter on their offense.
Justin Laird will kick it away. Bruce Johnson back deep. Johnson comes up, fields at the 33, makes a couple of guys miss and gets out to the 48-yard line. Good return. Scored a 36-yard punt and a 12-yard return. So Miami trying desperately to get some momentum. We'll see if they can pay it off when we come back.
You stand for certain ideals of decency,
of respectability,
of fair play. You demonstrate good sportsmanship when you show respect.
For yourself,
for your teammates,
and for your opponents.
Whether you win or lose,
congratulate your opponent on a game well played.
Win without boasting and lose without excuses.
Always extend the limits of strength and endurance, and remember,
we are an example to everyone.
We're back. The pass underneath to Charlie Jones. And Charlie Jones showing some tenacity. Picks up 13 yards. And it's going to bring up a 2nd down and 2. While we were away, false start penalty against Miami. Pushed them back 5 yards. But a good gain by Charlie Jones. Picks up the lost yards and then some. Miami playing hurry up here as we are winding down in the first half. This pass is caught by the tight end Olsen. Pickup of 6. That'll move the chains. Stop the clock at least temporarily.
Well, Olsen finally gets a football and can hang on to it. They need to move the ball further down the football field, at least get into a position to maybe tie this ball game. They have the timeouts and enough time on the clock to do that.
They have 2 timeouts remaining. Right back in the shotgun. 3 receivers in the game. Pump fake. Dumps it over the middle. Pass is complete to Charlie Jones. He's quickly brought down after a pickup of 3. And they're going to have to call timeout to stop the clock. Brian, how important is this drive right here to get something on the board for Miami before that trip to the locker room?
Well, I think it's a mental thing to be able to feel like they've done something. As I talked about earlier against Louisville, they did the same thing. They took the football on their opening drive and marched straight down the field and went up 7-0. And everybody in America thought, well, Miami's going to dominate this game. 31 unanswered points by Louisville. that looks like what's happened so far today. They certainly cannot surrender and not put up points. This is going to be a big drive for them. They only have a few seconds left. Kyle Wright needs to be a little smarter and not unload the ball 2 yards down the football field and burn timeouts. That's not going to get you anything.
The Hurricanes came out of the gate with their hair on fire. First drive of the game, they march all the way down the field, score a touchdown. Since then, nada. Are you surprised?
I am surprised. I'm surprised at the sloppiness of their play. The false start penalties, the kick out of bounds. We've had so many miscues on a team that you would expect coming off of an off week that Coach Coker said they have used so well in trying to get back to fundamentals. Well, fundamentals is playing good, solid football without turning the ball over, without having penalties. And that's not what we've seen so far tonight.
31 seconds remaining here in the first half. After the timeout, second down at 7. Wright drops the football, jumps on it, but it's going to be a big loss of yards. They move back 5 more. It's going to bring up third down and 12. Alan Waddell has to be pleased at what he's seeing from his defense. And Miami burns their last timeout.
Well, we just got through talking about it, and that's very, very difficult. You fumble the football and put yourself in a hole. Now really they're going to be content to get out of this half without having to punt the football, which I'm sure Houston is probably thinking, but Kyle Wright has not been very solid. This kid is a very smart player. His father coached him in high school. He said when he came in here, he was so far ahead of everyone else in understanding how the game works, picking up the offense. And you know, a lot of times that can work to your disadvantage. It's kind of like a golfer. You like to be smart, you like to plot your way, but eventually when you stand over the golf ball, you just got to swing. And I think that's what we're seeing out of Kyle tonight. He's just thinking through too much when the ball snaps. He just needs to just relax and play. His offensive coordinator, Rich Olson, talked about that. That's what they need to do on this entire team, especially offensively and even more so Kyle Wright.
Now, the mistakes haven't just been made by the quarterback Wright. You just saw the 6 penalties to go along with the 2 turnovers. So there's been a lot of muck so far in the offense of the Miami Hurricanes. Flag is down. Passes out to Charlie Jones, and Jones is close to a first down if this play stands up. It'll be a game in 11, but I think that's going to go against Miami. There was movement before the snap.
Well, we saw confusion. Olsen was looking to move back and to go in motion. That's not what Kyle Wright had in mind, and ended up snapping the football. Miscommunication. I don't know. It looks real sloppy out there. Not something that you would expect, as I said, off a team that's worked so hard, been so diligent in this off week of trying to get back to good Miami Hurricane football.
Illegal shift on the offense. That penalty is refused. We also have a crackback on the offense, number 83. It's a 15-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage, and it's still third down.
Well, here we see Olsen looking around like, I thought I'm supposed to be doing this, and the ball gets snapped.
Well,
wow.
Just so we're clear, obviously a lot of hard times for Larry Coker, the head coach for Miami. His team likes him. They want to play well and vindicate Larry Coker, the man that gave him a scholarship. You wouldn't be surprised if maybe they're pressing, knowing that there's a lot of turmoil surrounding their head man. Third down and 25. Wright flushed, trying to make a play all by himself. Philip Hunt, the first man to get to him. Wade Cole finishes him off.
Well, I asked Larry Coker the other day because I had read in an article where he said we are not a good football team. That was right after the loss to Louisville, and he kind of looked perplexed, like, I never said that. And I said, well, Coach, I read it twice in 2 different articles. I said, do you still believe that? He said, no, I don't believe that we're a bad football team. We're just not real good right now.
And in that first half, they were not very good by Miami standards, which have been so high over the last 25 years. As they go to the locker room, our score 10-7. The Houston Cougars on top of the Miami Hurricanes. Dave Ryan is standing by with Larry Coker. Dave, take it away.
Larry, after a good start offensively, your team scores in the first drive of the game, struggles. What happened after that?
Well, our mental focus, we're just losing, for some reason, losing our mental focus. We've got some young kids making mistakes. We can't have it. We can't do it. We're playing well defensively, but we've got to bring it to the table offensively.
How would you evaluate Kyle's play after that first drive?
Well, I don't think he's played very well, to be honest with you, as well as he can play. We got to play better.
We struggled in the second half, Coach. What do you tell your team to avoid that here?
Well, if we're going to win a football game, we got to play well in the second half.
Thanks, Larry.
Thank you so much, Dave, and thank you, Larry, for stopping by and talking with us. It has been a difficult first half here at the Orange Bowl for the Canes. They trail Houston 10-7. Now let's join Brian Kenny for the Yamaha ATV halftime report. Today's Miami weather mirroring the tenure of head football coach Larry Coker. Sunny skies suddenly giving way to high winds, storm clouds, and rain. Lots of rain. Lately, it's become a full-blown hurricane of problems and discontent with the football program. And in the eye of the storm, Larry Coker. After a championship in 2001, many in the local media are raining on his parade. Coker's fate is now in the hands of his players. And a difficult first 30 minutes of football for the Miami Hurricanes, unranked for the first time in 107 weeks. And they come out after a bye week and score just 7 points against the Houston Cougars. They trail 10-7. Alongside Brian Kinchin, I am Eric Collins. And it is hard to believe that you can call this a surprise. An undefeated 4-0 team on top of a 1-2 team. But when it's Houston on top of Miami, it's a shocker.
Yeah, it is a little bit surprising. Miami has not done themselves any favors, though, giving up the football twice, and Houston capitalizing on both of those opportunities, and also a lot of penalties. Very, very undisciplined football, and it's going to be interesting to me to see how they come back in this second half and respond, how well they made adjustments, especially for Larry Coker and his staff in halftime, to see if they can come out and be more productive than they have been in games past.
Yeah, that's been a real problem. Take a look at that. In the last 5 losses spanning 2 seasons for the Canes, they haven't scored a single point in any of those second halves. What do you read into that?
I read into that they were down going into halftime and could not pull out the victory, and it's just not something that they can afford today. This Houston offense is taking advantage of those opportunities that they've had, and Miami needs to play smarter, more disciplined football in the second half.
Well, Houston will start with the football here in the second half. It's Rashawn Pope with the football, and Pope rumbles out across the 30-yard line. Ball's loose, and it's going to stay with Houston. 26 yards on that return for Pope. Well, the first half, Kevin Cobb.
Well, he's making plays with his feet, being aware, doing a good job. He's going to have to. It doesn't look like his O-line is going to give him a great pocket to work in, but this is what he does well. Thinking on his feet, short, concise throws, very accurate. And the fourth down play that really brought it all to fruition was the nice 15-yard throw that made the touchdown possible in the end.
And now they bang with the big fella. Jackie Battle was used sparingly in the first half. He rumbles for 13 yards.
Well, this is something I talked about at the end of the half. They're going to have to be able to establish a ground game. And Jackie Battle, big physical runner up into the middle of that Miami defense. That will take the confidence and the air out of a defense very, very quickly.
Ball on the 43, 1st and 10. Again, they run the big fella. Battle, left side, picks up a couple. Well, for the state of the Houston Cougars here in this third quarter, let's go down to Dave Ryan. Ryan, what's going on?
All right, Eric just spoke with Art Briles, the head coach of Houston, a moment ago. He said to his team at halftime, do not get too excited, guys. I know we're on the big stage here at the Orange Bowl in Miami. We're undefeated, trying to go 5-0 for the year. He wanted a good time of possession drive to begin this second half. Good pacing. He loves the way Kevin Cobb, his quarterback, is operating the offense right now. Eric, really the only down note is the loss of Cody Pree, defensive tackle, out for the game tonight for Houston with a sprained knee.
Tate Stewart will be asked to replace him on that defensive line. Thank you, Dave. Cobb throws on the run. Passes complete to Avery. And Avery in space zigs and zags and gets all the way down to the 33-yard line. A pickup of 23 yards.
Donnie Avery does a really good job of getting inside of corner Bruce Johnson, number 22. Cobb making it happen with his feet, finding the open area. But I think the impressive thing about that is watching him run the football after the catch. That is where he is most dangerous. His coaches told us that last week, and we see that right there.
Cobb now with 13 completions to 8 different receivers. Back on the ground, Pope with a burst up the middle inside the 20. 13-yard gainer on that one.
Well, Rashawn Pope is another guy. He alternates in there with Battle. He's a little bit smaller, more agile, but the same result right up the middle, just gashing this Miami defense right out of the chute. We talked about those adjustments, and it doesn't look like that they made much, especially defensively. They've got to buck up here and be able to shut this offense down quickly, or it might get ugly.
With a good opening drive in the third quarter, the Cougars now with more yards than the Canes. Battle gets away from the first wave of tacklers, a pickup of 5 on the play. Well, the last time the Houston Cougars played here in the Orange Bowl, make no bones about it, they laid an egg. They were ranked 14th in the country way back in 1991. John Jenkins had that great wide-open offense, quarterbacked by David Klingler. They felt they wanted to test themselves in the national stage. They played here in the Orange Bowl and got ran out of the place, losing 45-10. The following week, they moved down to 21st in the country. They lost to Illinois. They fell out of the rankings. They haven't been ranked since. That was 1991. So today, they've got some revenge on their mind. But going backwards is Cobb. Brian Pata gets him with the sack and a loss of 9.
Well, Pat is a big guy with long arms. He has a motor that will not stop. Very, very athletic. A poor read by Cobb on the option. He should have given the football instead of pulling it out on that dive option.
3rd and 14. How much of a chance do you take here? Do you want to go for the bundle, get that first down, maybe put the ball up in the air, or do you want to just settle for field goal range?
We might see what they did earlier of just nipping out a few yards.
Looks like that's what they're going to do. They spin it out to Vincent Marshall, who picks up some positive yards, gets it inside the 20, and now a more manageable field goal attempt for Ben Bell.
Well, I think Art Briles, the head coach, knows that any points are good. Any points against this Miami team are good. And so he did exactly what he did earlier on the field goal, nipped away at the 3rd down a little bit, didn't try for the big play to give his field goal kicker an opportunity, who's been very, very consistent, especially tonight.
This will be a 35-yarder for Bell. Does it get the late hook? It does. Just curves inside the right upright, and it is now a 6-point lead for Art Briles and the Houston Cougars. Larry Coker's team will have the football when we come back.
At full from Taco Bell's value menu. I'm full! Introducing Taco Bell's half-pound value menu lineup. Now fill up on any of 3 hefty half-pound burritos to keep your stomach and your wallet full. Think outside the bun.
Pressure. Enemy of engines. Enemy of pressure. Pennzoil Platinum. It's the full synthetic with adaptive molecules that continually join forces to help conquer the enormous pressure inside your engine. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
The 23 flavors in every Dr. Pepper add up to so much taste. 23 is always on the tip of your tongue.
So at the end of the 23rd quarter, it's all tied up, 23-23.
We'll be back after a brief 23-second timeout.
Thanks, guys. Dr. Pepper and ESPN are giving you a chance to throw for $1 million. Go to ESPN.com, keyword Pepper to enter. Because with 23 flavors in every Dr. Pepper, there's always more to it.
Bergwood, you're on the goalpost truck, you're on the car, I'm on lookout. Bergwood, are you wearing spandex?
Yeah, I got them out of my mom's drawer.
It's very sexy.
You think?
No. Yeah! Go, 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 go.
This is gonna look great in my yard.
Bergwood,
Is the strength of Allstate behind your favorite college football team?
I got nothing.
Don't worry about it.
Susie, I'm home.
Dad!
Warning, the makers of Tag Wildcard remind you that if you mess with the King's Queens, you better watch your ace, Jack.
Tag Wildcard. Consider yourself warned.
Who will you stand with?
We stand together. X-Men.
Finish them!
Logan!
That was my last cigar.
X-Men, The Last Stand, Tuesday.
So Mike Ditka called you a bedwetting mama's boy. It was great radio. Pass salt.
What makes them different makes them great. Mike and Mike in the Morning on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
ESPN2's college football is broadcast in high definition and presented by Pioneer Plasma. We're in Miami, Florida, the Orange Bowl. For the Houston Cougars, a perfect 4-0 against the struggling Miami Hurricanes. Alongside Brian Kinchin, I'm Eric Collins, Dave Bryant. Working on the field. After a 35-yard field goal for the Cougars to begin the third quarter, the Canes will have the football for the first time. And they will start on the 20-yard line. Kyle Wright riding that roller coaster in the first half. He will try and even things out and get his Canes back in the game. Still just a 6-point deficit for Miami.
Well, I think Miami, just like Houston, has realized that they've got to be able to move the football on the ground. The big guys up front, Anthony Wuschlager, their center, their experienced guy, needs to get those guys going, open up some holes, and they need to stick with the ground game, and that will open up the passing lanes for Wright.
They go back to the ground, and Javaris James, who was fantastic on that opening drive, he is corralled after a gain of 6. Well, this is a telling statistic. The Miami Hurricanes, they have 7 penalties on the day and just 6 first downs.
It's not a good combination at any level, anywhere. That's not productivity on offense. And that's not smart football, not disciplined football when it comes to the penalties, because some of them were kind of borderline silly penalties.
James again running hard, spins away from a tackler and gets across the 35. A pickup of 11 yards. That's now the 7th first down of the game for the Canes.
I'll tell you what, you just have to look at this and really appreciate what it is. A lot of people will look at that and just think, good run. But this is a freshman kid who last year was in high school, and he's running hard. He's running with intensity, heart, and desire. A talented kid who gains a lot of yardage that he had to earn a lot of it on his own. You got to appreciate the effort for the young kid.
They give it to him for the 3rd straight time. Tries the right side, sneaks away, and picks up significant yards down the right sideline. Just kind of went into that pack and emerged for a big gainer. I think the Cougars thought he had went out of bounds earlier. But they're going to mark it all the way across the 50-yard line to the 46.
Well, this is what they said. He gives them something different. He is special when he has an opportunity. Look at him walk the tight line down that boundary. And he was exhausted, too. When you saw him walking to the boundary, he's patting his head. What that means is, get somebody in here. I need some air.
3 straight carries, and the Canes now in business. James out of the game, replaced by Charlie Jones. Wright wants to throw. Right side. Pass is tapped and incomplete. Looking for his tight end, Olsen. Good defense play to knock it away. Well, already a career high 99 yards for the freshman. Cousin of Edgerrin James. They think he has got a chance to be an elite performer for the Canes.
Well, we can see him trying to get in the oxygen right there, trying to get his batteries recharged, but I think it's going to be on him, this young man, to be able to bring home the victory tonight for the Canes and relieve some of that pressure off of Kyle Wright in that passing game, which is not being very productive.
Olsen in motion. The give to Jones. Hit in the backfield, breaks a tackle, gets out to the 45-yard line. Let's go back down in the field for more on Javaris James. Here's Dave Bryant. Dave?
Yeah, Rick, he and his older cousin, a star of the Arizona Cardinals, Edgerrin James, speak every day on the phone, and he always tells him, Edgerrin does, to Javaris, you got to be better than I was at Miami. That's not going to be easy to do. They call him Baby J in the James family. He was the team's water boy for Edgerin's Pop Warner team, and when Edgerrin had that team record 299-yard game against UCLA, Javaris was on the field as a 12-year-old assistant helping out with Miami. He vowed that day, I want to play for the Canes. He's doing it tonight and doing it pretty well.
Yeah, we asked him about expectations. He says some people break under expectations, other people break records. He wants to be that type of player. And a pass incomplete, looking for Sam Shields, and maybe a little bit of misfortune as the umpire got in the way of the football.
Well, he officially gets gets on the stat sheet. Pass broken up. That was dead center on the shoulder. And he made a good throw underneath, trying to get it to Shields, the freshman. But, man, that's just...
Is that Kyle Wright's fault?
That is bad luck.
It's just bad luck?
No chance. That's just fluke.
So they're going to have to punt on 4th down. Kenneth Fontenette is the man deep. He runs away from the football, and it's going to spin into the end zone. Misfortune for the Hurricanes. Bruce Johnson thought he had a chance to down it, but the ball gets away from him and goes out of bounds, and it'll be moved out to the 20-yard line. So a punt of 45 yards, nets just 25 after the touchback. Monday night, Brett Favre and the Packers try to even their record at 2-2. They take on Donovan McNabb, Ryan Westbrook, and the Philadelphia Eagles. Is it Monday yet? Monday Night Football on ESPN at 8:30 Eastern Time. It's available on ESPN HD. Nothing going on. Rashawn Pope, the carry on 1st down. He's brought down at the line of scrimmage. Kareem Brown, big number 99, first man on the stop.
Well, Houston's offense is going to have to do more than they did in the last part of that first half. They got themselves in a hole and could not get first downs. They've got to be able to stay ahead of the first down marker, get 3 and 4 yards a pop. They can't afford 0 yards on a rush and put them in a hole. Their offense isn't designed to go down the field that often with Cobb as quarterback.
Before the play, movement on the line of the Houston Cougars.
False start on the offense, number 73. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still 2nd down.
Well, Kevin Cobb, the senior from Stephenville, Texas, 6'3", 225 on the year, 12 touchdowns, just 1 interception. He completes 69% of his passes. We talk about his longevity. He is the active Division 1A leader in starts as a quarterback, completions, and yards. Down in Houston, they're hyping him as a Heisman Trophy candidate. Is that realistic?
Well, I like the kid. We talked to him yesterday. He has the right mentality to be a good, solid passer. He doesn't think things too much. He's smart enough to know the system, but he makes decisions, and he makes them quickly. And I think that's what separates him from most quarterbacks.
3 receivers to his left. Oh, whistle blows, and no one heard it on the Hurricane defense. Free shot on Kevin Cobb, and the Canes took it.
I guess he kept thinking that they were just going to stop, because I was looking at him going, at least step out of the way or fall down. You don't need to take a hit, an extra one along the way. You're going to get enough of them as the game goes on. That was kind of like, hit me in the gut. I can take it.
Before the ball was snapped, the 25-second clock ran out. So we have a delay of game against the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. It's still 2nd down. Please reset the game clock to 7:28. 7:28 on the game clock, please.
And it wasn't like he got hit by one guy. He had 2 up top, 1 down low. You just don't need to be. That's just not being smart. Fall down or something.
Talk about adding insult to injury. A loss of 5, and he gets smacked in the backfield. 2nd down at 20. They need to get out across the 30-yard line. Pass is complete to Avery. And Avery gets out close to the 20-yard line. Well, Kevin Cobb putting up numbers. And you have to. Playing in this type of offense and being someone who's played every single game since going to campus as an 18-year-old freshman. And look at the names that he's starting to hang out with. He's just 18th on this list of most yards in 1A history. But remember, he's still got the majority of the season to go.
Well, without question, you watch and see what he just did right there in 2nd and long. He took what they gave him. He didn't panic. He didn't overreact. Now they're still in 3rd and long, but just being smart, knowing you don't have to do too much. Punting is okay.
And another whistle before the snap.
False start on the offense, number 66. It's a 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Well, if you're looking for an upset, this is not the proper recipe. That's now 4 false starts on Houston and 1 delay of game. Even though Houston's 4-0, Art Briles knows his team needs to be pretty close to perfect against this Miami Hurricane defense and their athletes.
Well, this is just really, really tough because you're in a hostile environment. You're in 3rd and long. You're throwing the football. You know you're going to get a pass rush. And we watch the right guard, Byron Alfred. Looks like he's in the middle of the woods trying to do some business and then falls right into it.
3rd down at 17. Cobb has a man. It's complete to Marshall. Just what the doctor ordered for the Cougars. A gain of 35 yards on 3rd and forever. Talk about letting the air out of a balloon.
Well, we just talked about not being able to put the ball down the field in this offense, but you talk about a wonderful job of moving the football down the field on a big-time play. They zigzag X the receivers, and he steps out of bounds, which is not something that you're supposed to do, but because they didn't catch it, the play stands as called. Big game.
That is a break for the Houston Cougars. No doubt about it. Vincent Marshall looked like he stepped out of bounds. Should have been ineligible. Jackie Battle with that run. Pickup of 2. Wow, the Houston Cougars. Talk about dodging a bullet. Looked like the senior Vincent Marshall had stepped out of bounds before he made that 36-yard catch.
We watch here as his feet go out of bounds 2 or 3 or 4 steps down the boundary and still makes the catch.
2nd down and 8. I guess they could have said he was pushed out. And if you're pushed out in a college game, you can come back in. Pass is caught right side. That's Donnie Avery with the catch. Another big gainer for the Houston Cougars. Pickup of 25 yards.
More and more impressed with Kevin Cobb. He's on the run, finds his receiver, and makes the good throw. And he does it so nonchalantly, just not even processing it, just knowing what he's capable of doing with the football and knowing how competent his receivers are of catching the football. Very calm in the midst of turmoil as he's moving out of the pocket.
And another strong run for Jackie Battle. Pickup of 6 to get inside the 20-yard line. I think the fans here at the Orange Bowl are stunned.
Well, I'm a little bit stunned myself. I talked about it earlier that Randy Shannon says that their defensive coordinator, that they don't have a leader. Well, guess what? They need to find one and find one quickly who wants to step up and make a statement here, because they've got no one doing that. He talked about his DBs. They're not real experienced at playing, with the exception of Merriweather, their senior, who is a 2nd-year starter. But they need to find someone who wants to come up and make a difference in this ball game, and they need to do it now.
2nd down and 4, and Battle loses the football. A break for the Canes. Chavez Grant picks it up, and the first turnover of the game for Houston gives it back over to Miami. Oh, a mistake for Art Briles' club.
Well, Levon Ponder does exactly what I just asked for. Somebody to come up and make a play, and watch this hit. Helmet on the football. He did a good job, Battle did of putting it away. But what a great play from Miami. They needed that.
So does momentum go away from the Cougars and to the Canes?
Boomer and TJ, your go-to guys for the day that was in football.
Touchdown!
The Blitz, tomorrow in SportsCenter at 11 Eastern.
Introducing the new 2007 Yukon Denali, the definition of great engineering.
It's time to feel free. Introducing Chase Freedom. Finally, you can feel free to choose rewards points.
I'm free to do what I want.
Or choose cash back. All with the same card.
I'm free.
Then feel free to change back again. Without losing a thing. Now that's freedom. That's Chase Freedom. Get it free at chase.com/freedom.
I really like these Sonic smoothies. They got calcium, they got vitamins. I feel like every time I drink one in the morning, it's like a daily affirmation.
You don't need that from a smoothie. I offer you a lot of encouragement. Remember when you wanted to date Sandy and I was like, no, she's out of your league, buddy. But I encourage you to date women who are less attractive and interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what you are, man. You're that.
Real fruit smoothies. Drive in for Sonic's new peach smoothie, a delicious combination of real peaches and creamy yogurt. And now swipe your credit or My Sonic card from your car, only at Sonic.
As far back as I can remember, our family has lived in this town. We passed on our traditions. But when everybody left, me and my family started a tradition of our own.
People may not know what we say here tonight. By God, they'll remember what we did.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Beginning. Rated R, starts October 6th.
Brian Kenny here. It's the Prime Time Pulse. Take a look at what's available out there on the ESPN family of networks on ESPN on ABC. Ohio State and Iowa underway, no score. Fighting for the Little Brown Jug on ESPN. Michigan and Minnesota. Minnesota won the jug last year. It's 7-0 Wolverines. Eric?
Thank you, Brian. Big Ten football in September. People getting excited up north. All right, after the turnover, the fumble by Jackie Battle gives the ball back over to the Miami Hurricanes. Not great field position, but they have the football. Spit it out. Sam Shield has the ball. He's pushed out of bounds across the 30-yard line. The freshman from Sarasota showing off his skills.
Well, it's a nice little bubble screen to the wide receiver. They needed that. It didn't look like much, but you know what? For a quarterback like Kyle Wright, who has struggled in this ball game of finding targets, that's big. That adds, that gives confidence to him. And that's all he needs. Continue to put the ball on the ground, chip away at him.
Tavares James. A couple of yards left side. All right, Brian, I'm going to put you on the spot. What do you read into all these freshmen playing offensively for the Miami Hurricanes, James being one of them?
Well, I just think that they saw what I saw in this kid and his ability to make plays and to make things happen. And I think they just wanted to say, you know what, you're going to be our guy, and see how he responded. I think when you look at the wide receivers, it was more out of necessity, especially after losing Darnell Jenkins. It was just an opportunity for them to be able to do that.
4 freshmen started today offensively for the Canes. Pass is complete. The tight end, DeLeon Farr. Pick up of 4 yards.
And I don't want to leave the other freshman out. This is the guy that they like the most, Jason Falk. He is their big freshman tackle, number 64, who has been moved to the left side. Reggie Youngblood was out of the ball game with an injury, but they really do like him. I watched him on film. He has all the skills, all of the size that you want. They think that he is going to make a lot of money in the NFL someday. And for being so young and so raw, he really plays well. He is a smart kid, and they really love him, and I can see why every time I watch him.
Miami.
Timeout on the field. This is a big third down. The Canes, they have not converted their last 5 third downs. Larry Coker trying to nip that in the bud. See if they can when we come back.
Unlocked the doors when her dress and keys were inside. Got an email from her car. Contacted help when his son stopped breathing. Helped find his dream car after it was stolen. Made a call even when his cell phone couldn't. Choose a Chevy with OnStar.
Brace yourself for another hard-hitting Sunday NFL Countdown. Ouch. With the spotlight on him once again, we'll examine the T.O. effect in Dallas. Next, Chad Pennington on Second Chances.
Playing your next play like it's your last play, that means something to me.
And
Steve Smith changed the defensive philosophy of every opponent.
He's tearing it up again for the Panthers. Michael goes one-on-one with Carolina's MVP. Sunday NFL Countdown presented by IBM, 11 a.m. on ESPN.
Power means different things to different people. With Sprint, it's being able to use your phone how and when you want. Power is the largest voice calling area. It's the largest mobile broadband network. Power is wireless music downloads and live TV right on your Sprint phone, because now no one has a more powerful network. So switch and get 30 risk-free days to try it. Sprint. Power up.
When it comes to being a better football fan, nothing beats Sprint NFL Mobile. You can watch exclusive game highlights of all your favorite players, like Peyton Manning. That guy's pretty good, if you like 6'5", 230-pound quarterbacks, laser, rocket arm. With NFL Mobile only from Sprint, you get customizable alerts and real-time stats on your favorite team. Maybe like Peyton Manning's team, maybe.
Get the power of the NFL in your hand, only with Sprint.
ESPN2's College Football Primetime, brought to you by GMC, engineered to the highest standard, professional grade. And Chase, no matter what you love, we have a rewards card for you. Your choice, your Chase.
The Miami Hurricanes began the year ranked 11th in the USA Today ESPN coaches poll. After 2 losses in their first 3 games, they are unranked for the first time in 107 weeks. Trying to avoid a shocking upset here at home against the Houston Cougars. They need to convert this third down.
This is a big play for them offensively. They have not been able to establish any type of dominance on this Houston defense.
Tavares James with the carry. He's got the first down and more. James down the left side. Gets a block. Tackle at the 15-yard line. The big play that the Canes have been searching for.
Well, they needed that in a big way. And I really believe that if James was not as fatigued as he is after playing so many plays, that would have been a touchdown without question. His coach has said that he is fast and he can take it the distance. But what a great play. They really need that. Thank goodness for Fontenette on Houston's defense, or they'd be down in this ballgame now. It's up to them to create turnovers and make plays on the Houston side of the football.
A pickup of 44 yards. They give it to James again. Flags fly. Freshman cut down at the 6-yard line. Gain of 8 should it hold up.
Holding on the offense, number 71. It's a 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay first down.
So the Canes stubbed their toe again.
Well, costly mistake. Those O-linemen, I know very well as a tight end, every time that you block somebody, you're holding. But when they start to turn, when the ball goes outside of you and that jersey starts to separate, you got to let it go. They'll catch it. And on big plays, they'll always call it.
Another costly mistake, possibly, for the Canes. Right with time. Lost it. Incomplete. Trying to get it to his tight end, Olsen, who caught it out of bounds.
Well, he likes Greg Olsen. It was to his detriment earlier in the year against Florida State. He had a tendency to lock on to him, which his offensive coordinator, Rich Olsen, says that he never does. But it ended up hurting him in that ball game. And you can understand why. It's a big kid. He's 6'6", 252, a huge target, and very dependable. And that's what a quarterback, when he's looking for confidence, needs to go to, is his tight end, his security blanket. And it looked like he was trying to force it in there, and they need to try to just stay with him underneath on the short stuff.
Second down and 20. Right. Designed run, and it is sniffed out perfectly. Good defensive play made by L. Ash, the transfer from Tennessee. Let's take this time to go back to the studio and Brian Kenny. Brian?
All right, Eric, this is the largest crowd in the history of an Iowa sporting event. Number 1, Ohio State in Iowa City, but here's Troy Smith. Zips it in to Anthony Gonzalez, and number 1 has a 7-0 lead in the first quarter. Eric?
Thank you. The Ohio State Buckeyes firing on all cylinders early, at least offensively, in Iowa City. Tim Tressel's got a good thing going in Columbus. 3rd and 24. They need a bunch. Right. Steps up. Pass is complete. First down. Lance Leggett. They're going to rule it a catch. He's pushed out of bounds inside the 5.
What a huge play. What a big-time throw. Kyle Wright needed that. You look at the difference in philosophy of Houston when they were in 3rd and long. They just chipped away at it, settled for the field goal. The Miami Hurricanes on the other side of the football. Rich Olsen, who's their offensive coordinator, spent a lot of years in the NFL. And you know what? He's not used to settling for field goals, and it paid off.
3rd and 24. They pick up 27. Fake to James. Touchdown. Hurricanes. James Bryant with the catch.
Well, I love that call. I absolutely love that call. So many times in college football, in high school football, you will see them just pound it out, pound it out, pound it out. But Rich Olsen, who's been in the NFL, knows that play action in that situation will get them every time. And you got to like the call.
John Petty gives the Canes the extra point and the lead. So the worm has turned. The Houston Cougars turn the ball over as they're marching in for a score. And the Canes, they know what to do with it. Rich Olsen pushing all the right buttons, takes his Canes all the way down, and they cap it with a 2-yard touchdown catch by James Bryant.
Well, we see him coming out of the backfield right here into the flats. Very simple play after the play action, wide open. That's so simple it's not even funny, but yet you never see it. We'll see a closer shot of it. He's the fullback. They think they're leaning up into it, and Wright, he needed that. He needed that big time. Miami needed that. Larry Coker and his staff needed that. Now guess what? They've got to finish this ball game. They haven't been able to do it the last couple of times. They've got to be able to compete in the 4th quarter.
Let's take a look at the scoring drive, and it was highlighted by a lot of big plays. Javaris James, 44-yard run on 3rd and 2. Lance Leggett, 27-yard catch on 3rd and 24. So the big plays that have been missing all season long for the Canes, well, they found a couple of them on that drive. Kickoff is a short one. Anthony Ulrich with the football, and Ulrich is smothered. Brought down before he can get to the 20-yard line. Well, our aerial coverage is brought to you by Goodyear Tires, featuring Silent Armor technology. Pilot Larry Chambers, cameraman James Wilson, enjoying a Saturday night here in South Florida. No better place to be in North America on a Saturday night.
Well, we got us a ball game
here in Miami.
We've got us a ball game. The Cougars are for real. Miami's given them opportunities in the first half. If they can eliminate those in this half, Houston's going to have to be able to put together a nice drive offensively, which they really haven't had to do going the length of the football field.
Substitution infraction on the offense, number 80. 12 men breaking the huddle. The 5-yard penalty, still first down.
You've got to be kidding me. The Houston Cougars, they have had every opportunity, and they are starting to make mental mistake after mental mistake, and they're going to start off this drive in a hole.
Well, they started the same way on the previous drive, and you get behind the chains, and you have to try to make up yardage in middle downs, late downs, third down. It's just not going to happen consistently against most ball clubs, especially Miami playing in their home stadium. And the crowd has come alive now, Eric. It seems like they're actually believing in the Hurricanes again. It seemed like there was this doubt that was in the air throughout this ball game, and now as they're back up ahead, they started to awaken a little bit.
Well, the Houston Cougars, a couple of penalties that have caused them trouble here in the second half, but the turnover at the end of their last drive really is the thing that's going to be the stick in their craw. Their first turnover of the game, a fumble by Jackie Battle, led to 7 points for the Miami Hurricanes. Houston scored 10 of their points in the first half off 2 interceptions thrown by Kyle Wright. So the turnover story has been a decisive one. All right, the Cougars already with 4 penalties and 1 turnover in this third quarter alone. Cobb, pass incomplete. We are here at the Orange Bowl, the 69-year-old Orange Bowl, Miami, Florida. The Houston Cougars taking on the Miami Hurricanes. The Canes unranked for the first time in 107 weeks. Alongside my partner, Brian Kinchin, I'm Eric Collins. Dave Ryan, also a member of this crew. This has been a good night for the senior Kevin Cobb. Not a spectacular night, but an efficient night. Can't say the same for Kyle Wright. He had 2 interceptions in the first half, but that last drive, he turned it on, made those big clutch plays that they really need out of him. Cobb flushed. Throws the ball to no one in particular. Did have a man there. Donnie Avery was in the vicinity, so no grounding. Let's go back to the studio and check in with Brian Kenny for a SportsCenter in-game update.
All right, Eric, get back to the battle for the Little Brown Jug. Again, Minnesota won this last year, beating Michigan for the first time in 16 years. But there, Chad Henne to Adrian Arrington. So Wolverines up on top, 7-zip first quarter. Eric?
Thank you, Brian. That offense for Michigan, it may be as good as the offense that Ohio State has. It's not 3 yards in a cloud of dust anymore in that rivalry. All right, third down and 15. This is the 7th time today that Houston has had a third and more than 9 yards. Ulrich with the football, and Ulrich almost gets it up for the first down. How about that for a play call? It's about a yard short, though.
Well, now we're seeing a little bit of what I saw on tape with this Houston offense. They've been kind of plain and vanilla for them, and we're seeing them shaking it up a little bit. Aldridge is a speedster, a little guy who can move. He's only 170 pounds. Like to try to get him the football in a lot of different ways, but you've also got to admire the pursuit by free safety LaVon Ponder of tracking him down.
Well, Art Broyles, he is a riverboat gambler. Will he attempt to go for it on 4th and short against Larry Coker's bunch? It's the end of the third quarter. We'll see what happens in the 4th when we come back.
The Blitz, tomorrow in SportsCenter at 11 Eastern.
If technology exists that can make our SUVs nearly effortless to use, a GMC engineer will find it and apply it. Introducing the all-new 2007 GMC Yukon with available power liftgate and one-touch third-row access. Looking beyond the drawing board is just one more way we engineer to the highest standard, professional grade.
Can anyone tell me what happened to Napoleon when he tried to invade Russia? Brian?
Somebody's going to get their first loss here tonight. It's not going to be us, is it? No.
We're down.
Blue 80? No.
If you haven't discovered the miracle of fusion, it's time you did. Gillette Fusion. Until now, pressure caused irritation. Fusion has 5 blades spaced closer together to reduce pressure, with less irritation and more comfort. Flip Fusion over. A precision trimmer for those tricky places. The comfort of 5 blades, plus the precision of 1. The best shave ever in manual and battery powered. Gillette guarantees it or your money back. Gillette Fusion.
It's late. You're hungry.
You're not, Karen. It's time for fourth meal. The late night meal, between dinner and breakfast. Heard of the pyramid? Check out the square. All the tastes at a delicious fourth meal. Melted, crunchy, spicy, and grilled. The tastes are exciting. Only Taco Bell's got them. Everyone's a fourth mealer. How you doing? Some just don't know it yet. If it's not fourth meal, it's just food.
Every day, millions of decent, hard-working Americans are living with the inadequate, uncooperative, and just plain lazy. Electronics behaving badly. It's time you showed them who rules the remote control with a little help from Rent-A-Center. We've got the new widescreen TVs, home computers, and brand-name electronics you really want. With easy payment options, no high-interest credit card fees, delivery and service included. Nothing to stand in your way of getting the good stuff. Rent-A-Center, we make it easy to make it your own.
Capital One's Fur Factor.
From eating vile concoctions to staring down savage beasts, these mascots will face their darkest fears. Now, on to the first stunt. Let's see who's afraid of the dark.
Okay, how about a crazed linebacker?
Vote for your favorite mascot at CapitalOneBowl.com. Then watch the Capital One Bowl to see who wins.
What's in your wallet?
Our score is 14-13. The Miami Hurricanes on top of the Houston Cougars. Miami up by 1 point. Look at this. Normally when they're ahead going into the fourth quarter, it is a done deal. Since 1985, they've lost just 4 times when leading after the third quarter. But this is a very slim lead. Just 1 point. They're going to go for it. Oh, my. The Houston Cougars on 4th and 2 in their own territory. Plunge ahead. Kevin Cobb gets the first down.
I tell you, you got to love that. You have got to love that. I mean, a situation where, you know what, this might be the last chance you get. You just don't know. He takes his shot. Man, I like to see that. You just don't see that very often in college football. It's always the high percentage conservative play. What a breath of fresh air that is.
Cougars now 2 for 2 on 4th down plays. John Pope with the carry, a pickup of 3.
And I love that play right there. I know it kind of gets unnoticed a lot of time. The dive option where that defensive end, he immediately looks to him and either gives it to the fullback or pulls it. But you watch Miami. They look a little bit lost here. They don't know what's going on. They thought it was a punt. Obviously it wasn't. They had too many men on the field.
Second down. Cobb looking for a bunch. Has a man. Incomplete. Donnie Avery had a step and can't come down with a football.
Well, he did a good job of getting down the field and beating Kellen Yancey on the inside and in man coverage. That is the cardinal rule at cornerback. You cannot allow them to be inside of you. He has no help over the top down the middle. That is a scary, scary play right there. And I'm sure he's glad that that ball did not get brought in, because you can't get beat inside if you have no inside help, especially when you're in man coverage. You want to force them to the boundary.
3rd and 7. Marshall in motion. Little play action. Along the sideline, looking for Brennan Gleason. Even if he made the catch, it's going to be well short of the first down. They're going to say it was incomplete, so it's now 4th down and 7.
Well, as much as that 4th down play might not look like it did much, it did give them a few more yards, and they are with the wind, with their backs to the open end of the stadium, and to be able to pin Miami back just a little bit more, even though that 4th down and 1 didn't really pay off as much as I'm sure Art Briles and them really hoped for.
So Justin Laird will come out for his 4th punt of the game. Low liner, fielded by Johnson. Bruce Johnson brought down at the 36-yard line, a flag down on the field. 36-yard punt, 7-yard return. Is that Bruce Johnson's shoe? Actually, the deep back for the Cougars, Roy Otis.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 12, the 10-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. 1st down.
So Larry Coker's offense getting back to go out in the field. Let's go back to the studio with Brian Kennan. Brian?
Eric, Washington State hanging tough with USC. Jason Hill getting this from Alex Brink. That's his 29th touchdown catch of his career. Pac-10 record is 32. They missed the conversion on the 2-point, though, so it's 14-12. USC still at the lead there at the half. Iowa with a field goal, 7-3, still in the 1st quarter. Eric?
Thank you, Brian. Now James, the carry on 1st down, and he is brought down from behind by Trent Allen. Allen's had a solid game from his linebacker spot.
Well, he, along with Cody Lobachowski, are the leaders up front in that front 6, that front 7 that they have, and will play most of the time in all situations. Those guys on the Houston side of the football don't get a whole lot of breaks defensively. They've got to be in shape, and I'm sure they're feeling their toll a little bit being here in Miami. Not much different from the atmosphere over in Houston, but a lot of liquid coming out of them tonight.
Wright wants to throw. With room to run. Tries the left side. Gets past Trent Allen and gets it up for the 1st down. Pickup of 12 for the junior quarterback from Danville, California.
Well, he does a good job. He sits in the pocket, has great protection, has all the time in the world, but doesn't see anything that he really likes. He can move the ball with his feet. He is very, very deadly with that. Much needed 1st down. All they're looking at now is clock. Run the clock. Probably should have hook slide in bounds right there and keep it running.
Play action. Wright steps away from L. Ash. Throws it. Pass complete to James, and James rustled down by Wade Cole. Pickup of 5, but a nice open field tackle by Cole, the senior from Midland, Texas.
Well, we had a chance to talk to him a little bit on the football field. Wade Cole, smart kid, 3.8 GPA, has already graduated school. Wonderful kid. So we watched James with the checks down. I think it was a good job by Wright. He had kind of locked on to Olsen, the tight end, running down the middle, who got held up by Gully, the free safety, and did a good job of coming back to his outlet.
Charlie Jones picks up the 1st down for the Canes.
Well, it's a little thing, you know, what he did right there, but he stayed in bounds. That was smart. That's a good, smart play. Easy thing is to take it to the boundary, get all you can get. They probably have just talked to him about that on the boundary. Keep the ball in bounds. Get the clock moving. The clock is their friend. Anytime you're leading a ball game, the clock is always on your side.
Knocking on the door midfield. 1st down and 10. Jones still in the game. He's got the carry, and he's brought down after a pickup of a couple of yards. Let's go back down in the field. Ryan, let's talk about this Houston defense.
All right, Eric, back in the early 70s, Houston had a really good defense. They were called the Mad Dog D back in that 1971 season when they went 11-1. So the coaches of the current staff had decided to give these guys the Mad Dog label as well. On the back of the shirt, ain't nothing but the dog in me. That's the goal. Now, guys, if you do have the Mad Dog Hit of the Week, you get a candy bar. If you have the Mad Dog Play of the Week, you also get a candy bar. I'm getting kind of hungry. I'm thinking about breaking into these snacks. What do you think?
Yeah, those things looking like they start to melt on you, Ryan. Charlie Jones with the carry. Well, let's check now with Brian Kenny for a primetime pulse. Brian, what's going on?
Eric, yes, indeed. You're calling an outstanding game there, of course, but over on ESPN on ABC, of course, you've got number 1, Ohio State now at the 7-3 lead over Iowa. And then you've got on ESPN, Michigan now 14-0, another touchdown pass to Adrian Arrington. Eric, you said no place better than Miami on a Saturday night. How about Iowa City tonight?
Well, you're right. Well, maybe the best place is in Miami, sitting outside with a TV in front of you. How about that? All right, 3rd down and 1. Big spot for the Canes. Delayed handoff, Charlie Jones, right side, gets the first down, and is finally bumped out of bounds by Fontenette. Pickup of 9. The Miami Hurricanes trying to do some damage here in the 4th quarter, and they're doing it on the ground, but for the most part here on this drive.
Well, they're doing what they need to do. They're taking the football down the field and plodding away, wearing down this Houston defense who's been on the field for quite some time.
Another carry. Jones, this time wrapped up by Phillip Hunt after a nominal gain. Pickup of 1. What has been the difference for the Miami Hurricanes on this drive? It looks like they're just playing a little bit more efficiently.
Well, not just this drive. I think in this half, they're moving the football on the ground. They started that philosophy at the first part of the football game when we saw James single-handedly take down that first drive for a touchdown, and they got back to that. I think they kind of got lost midway through that first half.
Javarius James back in the game. Right. Dangerous pass. Looking for Lance Leggett, and Wade Cole almost got his mitts on it. Ryan, we talked to Wade Cole yesterday. He is an interesting guy.
Very interesting guy. Got some long hair. That hair you see sticking out the back, that's everywhere on his head. Very, very interesting guy. I think I might have offended him a little bit. I was trying to ask him about how do you stop this Miami offense, and I think he thought I was implying that they had a big, huge task ahead of them. I think he got a little bit eyeball to eyeball with me, like, hey, we're gonna make this a ball game, and he has, without question, backed that up. This defense, this Cougar team as well, playing Miami really, really tight.
Canes have converted their last 3 third downs. Wright gets away from pressure. He's got a chance to run for it. And Kyle Wright does it himself. Showing that escapability and then the speed to get out to the marker. A pickup of 11, and the chains will move.
Well, his feet have allowed him on several different occasions to get first downs, and he's in trouble there. The protection breaks down, but he does the smart thing and gets the football down the field, gets the first down, instead of making an ill-advised throw down the football field, hoping on a whim that it might get completed.
Numbers starting to look a little bit better for Kyle Wright. Hand off to James. Pickup of 4. So I'm going to ask you again, do you see any of his cousin Edgerrin James and Javarius James?
Well, I was just thinking, what a great resource to have Edgerrin James to pick up the telephone and talk to. I mean, that's just awesome. But this kid, yeah, sure, without question, you can see the bloodline in him and what he's able to do tonight. I think for him, though, to be able to get a couple of games under his belt of carrying the ball 20, 22 times a game, however many he's going to get it, and getting used to being in game shape will be a lot more effective.
Jones back in the game. Tries the right side. Picks up 2. Charlie Jones, and Javaris James splitting time on this drive, and it has been effective, keeping them both fresh.
Well, that's about the 11th play of this drive, and that Houston team is getting worn down. That defensive team is getting worn down, and they really need to be able to reach down and pull themselves up. These big guys up front that we're seeing need to reach down deep and be able to at least shut them down, maybe a field goal here. They certainly can't afford a touchdown at this point in this ball game.
Wright wants to throw. Pass incomplete. Looking for Olsen, and it slips away from his fingers. Would have been a tough chance, but Olsen, a premier talent, most of the time is going to come up with that grab.
Well, we're seeing what the coaches told us the other day. He gets overly excited when his number's called, and it's just hard because he needs to find a place or find a way to be able to settle in a little bit and just not think about it, not process it so much, just go out and play and make the catch.
35-yard field goal attempt for John Petty, and Petty misses wide left, not by much, but enough. That is now the third missed field goal for Petty in the last 2 games. Not what Larry Coker wanted.
Hey, over here. Why don't you switch to our network? We're just like them.
Are you reliable?
Excellent question.
How about for email or downloading music?
Why not?
Only one wireless network is America's most reliable for calls, downloads, and emails.
That is a problem, and we are working on it.
Verizon Wireless. It's the network.
I didn't go to AutoZone because I was too busy to change my antifreeze.
I didn't go to AutoZone because who needs a tune-up?
If you've been avoiding regular car maintenance, get to AutoZone. They have everything to help you keep your car safe and on the road. AutoZone. Get in the zone.
From a past paved in victory comes a future filled with glory. Can-Am. The name is back, but the passion never left. I Can-Am. Can you?
Attention football fans, get the hottest gear from your favorite NFL team free. That's right, free. Go to sioffer.com right now and get this official NFL long sleeve shirt with a logo of your favorite team free with your paid subscription. Get Sports Illustrated for only $1.59 an issue, a savings of 60% off the cover price. Use your credit card and get this reversible NFL fleece vest, plus this NFL hat of your favorite team absolutely free. Follow your favorite team and the rest of the NFL through SI's award-winning writing and spectacular photos capturing the entire season and more. Get must-have preview issues for college football, basketball, NBA, MLB, and the NFL. And the red-hot swimsuit issue. Plus our brand new fantasy football section and SI Players, our weekly glimpse into the players' lives off the field. Order SI and show off your team's colors with free NFL gear. This long sleeve shirt, this reversible fleece vest, plus this team hat, all free.
Go to sioffer.com or call 1-800-632-7700.
Saving the world from evil is hard. Fortunately, saving time and money on auto insurance can be easy. Quote by print. Instantly at eSurance. Take a fresh look at your auto insurance.
Visit esurance.com today.
ESPN2's college football is broadcast in high definition and presented by Pioneer Plasma. Just a gorgeous evening here in South Florida. On a rain earlier today, but it is cleared. We have had pleasant conditions for Houston against Miami, a 1-point game, 8:16 remaining. Both these teams unranked. Kind of business as usual for Houston, but for Miami, it's something that doesn't happen very frequently. They had been ranked for 107 consecutive weeks, dating all the way back to 1999. But after a loss to Louisville 2 weeks ago, they're now out of the top 25. After the missed field goal, 1st and 10, ball on the 20-yard line. Jackie Battle picks up 2 yards. Well, this was the attempted field goal by John Petty. He really thought he made this.
Well, it looks like he's nailed it down the middle, and it just takes a little bit of a hook to it as we watch his reaction. He's given the signal halfway through the air, and it's not good. And we watch him with his coach there, Joe Panunzio. And this poor guy is the tight ends coach and the kickers coach, the special teams coach. Not only did his tight end miss on third down, his kicker missed on fourth. Double jeopardy.
2nd down and 8. Vincent Marshall in motion. Cobb under duress. He's swarmed and brought down. Brian Pata with the sack, but a flag is down. Ryan Pata has been active all evening long.
Personal foul, face mask, number 95. 15 yards from the previous spot.
Maybe 2 active.
First down.
It's going to go against the Canes. Let's check in with Brian Kenny for a Sports Center in-game update.
Ardek will take you to Louisiana Tech and Clemson. And here, Will Proctor to Chancey Stuckey. Stuckey, 4 catches, 100 yards. Clemson just went in again since that touchdown, 37-0 in the third. Coming up right after your game, we've got Georgia 4-0 taking on Ole Miss. That's coming up after this one. Eric?
Thank you, Brian. Well, Clemson had a huge win over North Carolina last week, and now they keep on keeping on against Louisiana Tech. Penalty puts the ball all the way out to the 36-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Cougars. Cobb, pickup of a couple. Baraka Atkins with the stop.
He is just running for his life. That Houston front 5, Sterling Doty, the center, who's the rock, Mr. Dependability. They need to buck up, get a little more solid up front. I know they're tired, but their poor quarterback is running for his life.
Second and 9. Blitz is on. Almost intercepted and taken the other way by Atkins. The big fella put up the arms, and the ball almost stuck in his shoulder pads.
Well, they are doing a great job of getting to the quarterback. They have been relentless this entire ball game. As you look at number 81, Calais Campbell, who is a big, tall guy who can get inside quickly, and he did on Akins. Jeff Akins, the left tackle. They are just putting pressure on him all day long. They don't need to be in 3rd and long.
Cobb to his right. With time, throws it up, incomplete. Looking for the speedy Anthony Allred. So a whole lot of nothing on that drive for the Cougars. Cobb is now 0 for 4 in this 4th quarter.
Well, thank goodness for the personal foul penalty on Miami that gave them a first down, because they needed that. Their defense is tired. They don't need to come back onto this field again, but they've got no choice. They've run 6 downs, and it's time to get back out. Hope they've got a lot of oxygen in them, because they took a long drive the last time out and escaped with no points.
Houston hoping for a good punt here by Justin Laird. Bruce Johnson will let it roll, and it rolls inside the 20. So that's good news for the Houston Cougars. The ball is down at the 18-yard line. When we come back, let's see if Larry Coker's bunch can put a score on the board and open up their lead.
Run, Bunchums, run!
Nobody can resist free warm brownies from Domino's. Get 10 warm, delicious oven-baked brownie squares free when you buy any large pizza at menu price.
Building a database solution that manages over 31 million page views a day is no simple feat. Fortunately, I get advice from a company that lives it every day.
Warning. Use caution when wearing Tag body spray in the vicinity of a multi-hottie pet pyramid, because cheerleaders can be aggressive. Be aggressive.
Tag body spray for guys. Consider yourself warned.
There's only one place to be on game day. ESPN College Game Day, built by the Home Depot. Saturdays now starting at 10 a.m.
Here's why over 45 million people love DirecTV.
DirecTV has such a higher picture quality than cable. It's great.
I get all my local channels on DirecTV.
If you're an NFL fan, you have to have DirecTV, and you have to have the NFL Sunday Ticket because there's no other way to watch football.
Sunday Ticket is a must-have for football fans.
The customer service with DirecTV is great. With cable, it was like they were acting like they were doing me a favor by taking my money.
Once you watch something in high def, it's really difficult to watch anything else. And with DirecTV, the HD channels are amazing.
The DVR has really changed my life. Like, I can watch my shows whenever I want.
I can pause it. If the phone rings, you can pause it and come back to your show, and it's ready to go.
Switch now. Just call the number on your screen. There's no startup cost and no equipment to buy. There's free installation, and packages start at just $29.99 a month. Plus, sign up now, and you'll receive a portable DVD player for free. So call right now.
If you have cable, you're in the dark ages.
DirecTV is so much better than cable. I would never go back.
ESPN2's College Football Primetime, brought to you by the ESPN Total Access Visa Card. You spend, you score.
Well, there hasn't been a lot to cheer about here in Miami with regards to the Hurricane football program over the last couple of weeks. The expectation is just so high surrounding this program. Larry Coker won a national championship his first year on the job in 2001, but the Canes have lost 4 of their last 6 dating to last season, and some people not too happy in these parts. After a bye week last week, the Canes is trying to hold on and win this game and improve to 2-2 on the year. Greg Olson, the man in motion. Charlie Jones, little swing pass. And Jones pushed out of bounds. That'll stop the clock, but he picks up a good chunk of yards. 8 yards on the game. Turning out to be a real good one here in South Florida. We're at the Orange Bowl for the Houston Cougars, taking on the Miami Hurricanes for just the 18th time in these two schools' history. The Canes with a 10-7 advantage in the all-time meetings. Alongside Brian Kinchin. With Dave Ryan, I'm Eric Collins. Both teams unranked, which is a story in itself. Miami Hurricanes had the nation's longest streak being ranked in the top 25 snapped 2 weeks ago with their loss against Louisville. Let's check in with Brian Kenny for a SportsCenter in-game update.
All right, Eric, get you back to Michigan and Minnesota. Michigan up 14-zip, but Brian Cupido to Logan Payne. Did he get in? They're saying no, but then they took another look at it. You'll see Logan Payne actually with a beautiful catch. Just got that foot down. 6 touchdown catches in his last 3 games. And now it's 20-7, Michigan with the lead. Eric?
Thank you, Brian. Logan Payne has had a solid season for Glen Mason's Gophers. Kind of a bit player over the last couple of years, but he is now one of the receiving stars. 3rd down and short. Big play. Charlie Jones with that carry. It's going to be close. They're going to have to peel off some bodies and check out that spot.
Well, this will be a big measurement for both sides of the football. This game is coming down to only minutes left. The Cougars need to get off this football field, and it's going to put possibly Larry Coker in the exact same situation as Art Briles had on the other side of the football. 4th down in your own territory. I think that's a no-brainer for him to punt the football down the field, protect the 1-point lead.
Let's see if it's necessary to make that decision. It is not.
Sigh of relief, I'm sure, by Larry Coker. It's at least 3 more downs to whittle away at the clock.
In case you're wondering, the Houston Cougars have all 3 of their timeouts at their disposal should they choose to use them to stop the clock.
Well, I'm seeing a little lackluster football on both sides. Somebody needs to get excited down there and make something happen. I realize that Miami's just going to try to pound the ball out and get 1st downs, but it just looks like everybody's just standing there. Do they realize this is a D1 football game on primetime TV? Come on.
Charlie Jones in the game at tailback, and he's got the ball again. And Jones Stays inbounds. Gets out to the 35-yard line. A pickup of 6. Miami Hurricanes 1-2 on the year. Losses to Florida State and Louisville. No shame in that. Both teams really good.
Well, I don't think it's really the loss so much. It is the way they lost. You look at the Louisville game, and you can go all the way back to the Peach Bowl last year versus LSU, 40-3. It's not like they were getting edged out in the last play of the game. These were just monumental blowouts. Just not very, very unaccustomed to seeing that out of Miami ball clubs. It's just not something that happens.
Second out and 4. The give. Inside run. And nothing doing at all. Charlie Jones brought down by Rodney Rideau. Let's go back to the studio and Brian Kenny. Brian?
Eric Antonio Pittman for Ohio State, a one-man drive, 3 plays, 30 yards. Pittman ran it each time. Here's Pittman. Beautiful run here. He's picking up 23 yards here, getting himself close. From there, they reward him. Give it to Pittman again, 4 yards. He punches it through. Number 1, leading 14-3 in Iowa City.
Brian, thank you so much. Timeout on the field now. The Houston Cougars called that timeout to try and stop the clock as time is dwindling. Brian, you played at LSU. You played for the Tigers. Did you enjoy playing night games as the Tigers frequently did at Death Valley?
Oh, yeah, that was it at LSU. That's just the given. I mean, Saturday night football in LSU, that's where it's at. For us, the hard thing was having to play day games. We just weren't used to that. And it's pretty much backwards than any other place in the country because they have games during the day normally. Night games are the oddity. But for us, oh yeah, it was hard adjusting going into the NFL playing at noon. It was weird having to get up and get ready and get to the stadium. We're so used to hanging out in the hotel.
Yeah, what'd you do during the day? Just study?
Oh, no, yeah. If we didn't know it by then, we didn't know it. We watch games all day.
I'm talking studying for your classes.
Oh, yeah. I don't think like that. I'm a knucklehead football player.
There's Larry Chambers, the pilot of the Goodyear Tire blimp. Our aerial coverage is being brought to you by Goodyear Tires, featuring silent armor technology, and he looks like he's having a good time, and why not?
I think Larry's enjoying the airtime. Look at that. He's got a smile on his face, ear to ear, and honey, hey, look at me.
That's a big old blimp. You think he'd be paying attention to where he's going, wouldn't you?
That's right. Hopefully there's nothing to run into up there, and I don't think there is in Miami.
All right, the Canes with a 3rd and 6. They need to get to the 39-yard line. Wright wants to throw for it. Has his tight end, and this time Olsen with the catch. It's going to be close. I'm not sure. It'll depend on the spot.
Well, the good news is for Houston, they're going to stop the clock to get a measurement, but it's not going to be a first down, I don't think, from our angle. But at least he got it to his big tight end, Olsen. And I watched this kid when he catches the ball in the open field. Has a lot of speed, but he's got Rodney Rideau on him, who's a linebacker, light linebacker who can move as well. And not under his watch is he getting that first down. They got to get the ball back into the hands of Kevin Cobb. As I talked about in the opener, he's the guy who's got to get them this victory, and it's going to come down to him and offensively if they get the chance to do that late in this ball game. Oh, that's as close as it gets. That is as close as it gets.
It's about a slice of bologna in between the ball and the marker.
Bologna? Who eats bologna? Ham, maybe.
This is a decision here. What's going to happen?
No, he's booting this ball.
You need an inch.
He's booting.
You need an inch to keep the ball, and you can run some more time off the clock.
No way. There's no way he's going to give them a short field. No way. No way. 3 minutes, 6 seconds left. He's going to put it on his defense. Plus, this guy, we hadn't talked about him much. Brian Monroe can absolutely hammer the ball. I was watching him. He's their kickoff guy as well. He's hitting field goals from 65 yards in pregame. This guy's got a leg. It's unbelievable.
Well, now what's happening here? The clock is running, and everyone has come to the side of the field, so maybe we will not see the punt.
They're just no, they're not going to take a delay game. They are going to call a timeout right before it's time to snap it. Get as much as they can out of that clock.
And they do. Miami calls the timeout, their second timeout.
Miami.
So they have one more timeout to play with. Does this change things? Do you still punt the football, or do you go for it now? You can win the game almost if you go for it and get it.
No, you cannot do that. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, sure. Other side of the football.
We'll discuss when we come back. Time to take a timeout.
Yeah? Yeah. It's an old football injury. Tore my rotator cuff against the Giants in '88. Yeah. Got to play hurt, though, right?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, I burnt my tongue on some lentil soup last night. It really hurts.
Be okay to do the show?
Oh, yeah. I'll suck it up.
What makes them different makes them great. Mike and Mike in the Morning on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
We got a sandwich with a lot of meat and a sandwich with not so much meat.
With the Quiznos, you can tell that there's meat in there because it's like busting out of the sub.
That's prime rib. A prime rib, that's the king of all the meats.
I can't see it, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I cannot see the meat in a Subway sandwich. Oh, I see it!
Yeah, it's a little cracking different. Meat, no meat.
Take the new Quiznos Prime Rib Cheesesteak Challenge. If you're not 100% satisfied, you'll get a free sub. Only from Quiznos. Toasty.
Tom Dobbs made fun of politics.
Politicians are a lot like diapers. They should be changed frequently and for the same reason.
Until he decided
maybe you should run for president.
To get serious.
Brace yourselves, people. I want to run for president.
Now,
Smackdown.
He's telling the truth.
I did not have sex with that woman. I wanted to.
And giving America a good laugh.
You don't have to have amendments against same-sex marriage. Anybody who's ever been married knows it's always the same sex.
Man of the Year. Rated PG-13. Starts October 13th.
Bergwood, hurry up.
Pressure. Enemy of engines. Enemy of pressure. Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic with adaptive molecules that continually join forces to help conquer pressure.
So it all boils down to this. Art Briles looking on. Larry Coker has made his decision. He's going to send the offense back out on the field. It's fourth in the slimmest of margins. With a 1-point lead, they're going to go for it and try and salt this game away. And Wright calls his own number, and I think he got it. It took some second effort, but I think he got the first down. What do you think about that call, Brian?
Well, I thought that the fourth down earlier by Briles was a big gamble. This tops it all without question.
They're going to have to measure, but it looks.
He's got it. He's got it. Hey, you got to appreciate it, man. My hat's off to Larry Coker. That takes a lot of guts. Takes a lot of guts.
The most important measurement of the game.
Oh, they got it.
By about half the football.
You got to admire that, and it's on the second effort of Kyle Wright that they get it. Because the Houston team did a great job of stuffing him initially, but look at those feet driving away. The pile falls in their favor. First down, Hurricanes.
Well, the Cougars still have a little bit of life. Ooh, actually looked like Kyle Wright's knee may have gone down early. Not sure that was noticed.
No challenges left. Only had one. Used it earlier on the reception that was ruled an incompletion.
The Cougars still with a chance. They have 2 timeouts remaining, so they can stop the clock. Charlie Jones slips the first tackler, and he's brought down 41-yard line. Quickly, a timeout called by Houston. Both teams with 1 timeout remaining. With the timeout on the field, let's go back to the studio and check in with Brian Kenny. Brian, what's going on?
Ohio State, just when you think they might pull away, Iowa comes back. Albert Young, and that's the first rushing touchdown allowed by Ohio State. It's 14-10, Eric.
Wow. Ohio State had a tough one last week against Penn State. Pulled it out late. They've been challenged. We shall see.
Well, when you're #1 in the country, You have no choice but to wear a bullseye on your back. Whoever comes in and plays you is looking to knock off the champ. They're the guys at the top right now.
Larry Coker, a national championship in 2001. Won his first 24 games.
We'll get a good look at his knee here.
His knee's down there.
He's down right there, and the question is, where is the football? I think they spotted it well, though, because he actually fell close to the line, and that ball was still at least a foot back off the line. So I thought they did a good job of spotting. But, you know, if it's where the ball is when the knee touches, pretty good job.
Total plays this quarter. Miami 20, Houston just 8. 2nd and 8. Duron Thomas, his first carry of the game, and he has a first down. Not bad coming off the bench cold. Thomas picks up 10 yards and a first down. Coming up next, SEC action. The 10th-ranked Georgia Bulldogs taking on the Ole Miss Rebels. Ron Franklin, Ed Cunningham, and Dr. Jerry Puncher standing by after this game goes final. All right, Brian. Larry Coker was under a lot of pressure over the last week and a half after the loss to Louisville. Should this score hold? Should they win by 1? And for the people who weren't happy with him last week, are they happy now with a 1-point win over Houston?
Well, that's a good question.
Ball flipped out right side. Khalil Jones. First down and more, pushed out of bounds.
I asked him yesterday in our meeting about the score of the football game. I asked him a scenario: if they were winning by so many points, would he continue to try to get more points on the board, simply because of the fact that people would like to see them come out and really take a Houston team that's 4-0, that hasn't really played any kind of decent ball clubs in their first 4 games, and see them really come in and walk over them. And they haven't done that. But then again, you've got to look at the mistakes that they've made, the fumbles, the penalties where they've given them points. But that still goes back to being a good football team. Even though those happen, it all comes together and makes you either a good team or not.
Thomas, another carry. He's looked strong. 2 consecutive positive rushes. Let's go back down in the field. Dave, what's going on?
Eric, it looks like the roughest stretch of games for Larry Coker since he took over the Miami program in 2001 is about to end. He had told his team quite simply they cannot replay the past, the losses to Florida State and to Louisville. What they can do, control the future. The coaches told him starting tonight with Houston, a new season begins. He says that Canes had a really good off week of practice, even a better game week of practice coming into this one tonight. And although it has been close and dramatic with that late 4th down try for Miami, it looks like they'll hang on and finally get themselves a win.
2nd down and 1. Could be Katie barred the door here. Another carry by Thomas. He gets the first down, and that'll do it.
And the thing about it is, I don't want to take away from what these Houston Cougars have come in here and done. They have played good, hard, solid football. And we get a look at their head coach, Art Briles, who's probably very dejected. They made a great effort. They have a lot to be proud of, but I know what he's thinking, that it's still a loss, and it doesn't matter what team. Now, granted, the upside for them would have been a lot greater for the victory, to be able to get that respectability that I talked about earlier. And it doesn't look like it's going to happen, but Miami still has questions to answer, being able to be more consistent offensively, more consistent as a football team as a whole.
Kyle Wright takes a knee, and that'll do it. Larry Coker and the Miami Hurricanes, they survive. They are now a 500 football team. They improved to 2-2, and for the first time this year, Art Briles and Kevin Cobb come up on the short end of the scoreboard. They lose. They fall to 4-1 on the year, but they played well as a team. So relief for Larry Coker. He'll live to fight another day. There's our final. For my partner, Brian Kinchin. For Dave Ryan, I'm Eric Collins saying so long from Miami, Florida. Now let's get you to Oxford, Mississippi.